Hello, everybody. How we doing? Wednesday. How we doing, guys? Hey, Mel. Good to see you. I keep forgetting what day of the week it is, you guys. Every time, even though I usually do these lives on Wednesday. It's a gift. It's a special gift of mine to forget what day, where I am, who I am. It's okay. Hey, Lonnie. Good to see you. All right. So, as usual, I've been a little disorganized today. It's not as usual. I'm usually very organized. It's just lately I'm like decompressing from finishing that book. And so I'm like trying to like establish a new routine. So it's been interesting. Hi guys, welcome. Hey Mimi, good to see you. Mapacho, hey, there she is. Mapacho came to my meditation class at the Mindery. So good to see you, man. All right. Katrina, out with the old and in with the new. Yeah, I love that. Aw, thank you, Apache. I appreciate that. Loney, I got you down, my friend. All right. Yeah, of course, Mel. Absolutely. I'm fortunate though, if people give donations, they just basically like, thank you, Mapacho. I get they just basically take first position, but if you hang around, Mel, you know I'll always get to you. Yeah, of course, guys. Of course, of course. So, let me start off with the group reading. And give me 2 seconds to gather my brain cells, because apparently I don't have them today. Okay. Brain cells, activate. Let's go. All right. I've just been like decompressing a lot. So it's kind of like I got so many other projects to start, but I just like the starting of a project is always difficult. Once I'm in it, I'm good. Whatever they're drinking, I'm drinking. Oh my God, it's like, it's weird. I have green tea, a tiny splash of chai, and then soy milk and ice. I like it. I know I'm weird. Okay, so give me a second, guys. Let's got you down, Mel. Thank you. Woo. Good evening, Nakisha. I love that name. That's a cool name. Oh, that's okay, Mel. Anyway, even if you can't just... Oh, no, I got your donation, Mel. Yep, there it is. Came through after. So I've got Lonnie, Mapacho, Mel so far, just so you guys know. Okay. I think it froze. Am I frozen, guys? Oh, that's not good. That's weird. Oh, we might have to do a voice one then. It's never happened before. Let me try and do something different. That's weird. Oh, technical difficulty. There we go. I think I fixed it. Okay, it's catching up. All right, I'm back. Am I back? Yeah, okay, good. All right, so. All right, let me concentrate, guys. So I'm all over the place today. Okay, so let's start with the group reading, everybody. Hi, if you're new, my name is Jacqueline. So I'm going to start off with the group reading just so everybody gets something. And then I've got 3 donations currently. So they're just basically going at the top of the line. They're going to get a reading. If you guys hang around, I will give you a reading at the end as well. You don't have to give a donation to get a reading, but that's essentially how it works. Hey, Jamie, how you doing? So give me a second. Let me just focus. I'm all over the place. Okay, that was my first instinct, was my cards. So let's go with it. Good to see you guys. How are we doing? I hope you're all having a good week. So I had a very interesting thing happen, by the way, this week, which was hilarious. I totally embarrassed myself, which is fine. I can cope with that. While I'm shuffling, I'll tell you guys quickly the story. So I used to be in a TV show in Australia called Home and Away. And somebody messaged me and apparently said that they were doing reruns of the show with me in it in Australia. So I'm like, and she's like, you probably are owed royalties. And so I disconnected all of my connections from Australia, all my finances, all my contacts, everything. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I probably should hit him up because you never know. Hey, Melinda. And so I call up. I'm trying to figure out how to get in contact with Channel 7. Long story short, I find the number. I still had the number in my phone. I call them up and I'm like, hey, and I'm getting nervous, right? Because this is like the old 25-year-old me who was not the version of me today. So I call and I start getting nervous and I'm like, yeah, hi. Sorry, this is gonna be weird. Hi, my name is Jacqueline. I used to be. I don't know if this is the right person to talk to. Anyway, it was so embarrassing. Like I was just talking like weird and all over the place. I couldn't ground myself. And then at the end, I was like, yeah, because I don't know if like I'm all royalties or anything, and my manager died. Sorry, is this weird or complicated? And she was like, she was laughing on the phone, and she was like, yeah, no problem. I'll get back to you in a few days or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. And then I was just like, thank you so much for your work. And she was like, okay. And I'm like, okay, bye. I hung up and I was like, yeah, that was weird. Yeah, it's an iconic show, Bindi. I know it's still a show in the UK. It's still big over there. So anyway, yeah, it was funny. It was really bad. But I was totally embarrassed. Then I sat there. I was like, what was that? And then I was like, oh my God. It's like there's parts of me that still haven't healed from that time that just totally came to the surface and was just like, hey, girl, you got to fix this. So I was like, all right. Okay, sorry, guys. We're here. So if that happens to you, know that that's basically what it is. Yeah, I used to be like that, Loney. I was very insecure. So that's why it was funny that... Thank you, Melinda. That's why it was so funny that I like reacted like that, because I surprised myself. And then I was like, holy crap, there's like a ton of like things that I haven't healed from my past. Anyway, whatever. I'll deal with that. But I look a little crazy today, I think. But okay. We're going to get to it. Okay, so guys, this is a group reading for everybody. So Star People came up. So when the Star People card comes up, essentially it's all about beginning to start to listen to your intuition, okay? You're getting intuitive insights, you're getting intuitive information. And are you listening to that guidance? Are you paying attention to the information that you're receiving? So like I said, with this thing that happened to me, a pure example is like I sat with myself and I was like, what is this? And my intuition was telling me, hey, you've got some trauma left behind there that you haven't healed, because there was a lot of heartbreak around that time. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel that I was whatever, all this sort of stuff, especially when it came to acting. So all of that came up because right now I've got some stuff happening in my acting career that's kind of a little bit taking off. So it makes sense that these things kind of come to the surface all of a sudden. And they come to the surface essentially because they're there to say, hey, you got to deal with this because you don't want this basically to repeat. Hey, miss. Oh, thank you, Melinda. So what is your intuition telling you at the moment that maybe you need to learn, that you need to grow with, that something is going on in your life that is getting your attention, that isn't working sometimes? Like when things are not working, that is often... Oh, welcome, Florence. You haven't missed anything, Florence. We just started. So we're just doing a group reading right now. And then I'm going to do one-on-one meditations. Readings for the people who have given donations. So oftentimes when I give a reading to somebody else, it will resonate with you as well. That's why you're here. And then if you want to ask a question later, feel free. I will be taking also questions later. So long story short, guys, this is essentially what's coming up right now. So this is a great time to really start listening to your intuition and your intuitive insights. What is your mind telling you? What are the signs? What are the things that you're seeing on the outside that are reflecting essentially that either need to heal or need an upgrade from the inside? The next card that we got is the elves with a strand of my hair. The elves are all about mastership, okay? So there is something in your life now that is time to step up your game. It's time to get better at something. It's time to study more. It's time to refine something. It's time to do a little bit of extra work to get to the next level. Okay. So again, this could be related to what we just talked about, or Oh, hey CG, good to see you. Or essentially, it's just like something maybe you wanna change job, maybe you wanna upgrade or whatever. So essentially, this is what this card is basically saying. It's like, okay, you want to get there, you want things to get better, you want to move up, then you need to do a little bit more work and you need to go a little bit deeper and refine everything. Cosmic Witches. I love Cosmic Witches. Cosmic Witches, and then you also got the Aladdin Genies. Okay, so these are very magical cards that are coming up, guys. So there's a lot of magic in the air. There's a lot of change, opportunities, transformation. So the Cosmic Witches are all about do not limit yourself. Do not say that I can and cannot do something. Do not say that this is too difficult. This is impossible. It only happens to that person because they had this situation or this opportunity. When this card comes up, it's also saying for you to stretch a little bit further than what you think. And the reason for that is because it's one of my favorite sayings. Like, if you aim for the stars, you might reach them. But if you aim for the moon and you miss, at least you'll be amongst the stars. So it's always like, if you just try a little bit harder, you're going to get a little bit closer or further, sorry, than what you thought. I didn't eat very well today, so my brain is foggy. I ate chips today, which I normally don't do. And so I can feel my energy just like, slow. Okay. Kind of like that, like a gremlin. Aladdin Genies, okay? So this is about change, transformation, possible travel for some of you, but essentially it's like make a wish and make the wish come true, okay? So it's a magical time, guys. Actually, there's I feel like there's some opportunities and some magic and some change happening. So again, a reminder, listen to your intuition, you guys. You gotta start listening to that intuition, okay? The difference between also intuition, that's okay, Loni, I got you. You're first anyway, I think. Yeah, so you can just keep it there. Now I forgot what I was saying. Damn. Oh, got it. So the difference between intuition and ego, okay? So the ego will often say things like, you're dreaming, you can't do it. It's usually very loud. The intuition is usually very subtle and very repetitive. Thank you, Martine. So also another way to learn if it's your intuition, test it. Test your intuition. Do little things like, hey, if this is my intuition speaking, I mean, I guess what you could do is like, I don't know, I used to test it as like, if I heard a gut feeling, I would just follow with it and then I would see whether it would work out or not. That's how you basically get to learn the difference between intuition and ego, which one is speaking, which one is louder. All right, guys, so let's get into the 101s. Okay, so I got Loni first. She already wrote in, so I'm going to read it and I'm going to connect with you. I'm just going to... Okay. I'm getting closer to dating. It's been 7 months since my last relationship. Yes, girl. In the past 3 years, I've done a lot of... I've done a lot of work on myself, therapy, meditations, and affirmations. Amazing. I'm eager to date, but don't know if I'm ready. Okay, well, let's see what comes up. I think sometimes as well, like, we put the pressure on ourselves that we have to be in like a perfect place to move up or to do things. I think if you've done a lot of the work, I'm not sure if I will see the red flags. Ah, okay, I see what you mean. You know, the red flags are usually, it's not even so much, I think, Lonnie, the truth of the matter is with people like you, it's like, and you as in like people who have had experienced trauma, you as in general, by the way, not you specifically. You do see the red flags. The problem is you don't want to accept them, right? Because it's hard. You know, it's hard to first and foremost confront the person or confront the situation. Second of all, when we see the red flags, we'd rather just see them way ahead of time and then just avoid them altogether, which is not how it usually works. With red flags, oftentimes it's the lesson. It's like you're in it, you don't see it, then you see it, then you're in it, and you're like, shit, I'm already in this, so how do I get out of it now? And that's the lesson that you have to learn first. It's like, I have to get out of it, and I see it, and I'm not going to lie to myself anymore. I'm not going to say, oh, but this is a different situation. This person's differently, but they're so nice over here. There's no way that they could be like that. All of the excuses, essentially, that you've been making for every single person every time. like I always say with my story, when I got out of the abusive relationship pattern, the violent relationships that I was attracted to, the violence in relationships, the minute I saw 1 ounce of violence, aggression, I would leave. But it's hard, I get it, but I promised myself that that's what I would do. Yeah, and that takes courage. It takes a lot of strength and courage, because when you see it, you gotta just go, I'm not gonna give you a second or a third or a fourth chance. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work like that. Okay, so let's see what comes up though, Lonnie, because I'm sure the cards have more to say than I do and can give you a little bit more wisdom and help. Martine, thank you so much for the message. I'm not sure if it's for your reading, but I'm with Lonnie, or you maybe accidentally pressed it, because that does happen sometimes. But I'll get to you later. Jeez Louise. All right. I love it. Aw, that's cute. So I'm going to start with these ones. So this card here, essentially, this is, I feel like this is you. This has been you on your journey. You've done the work, okay? So the first thing that I'm seeing is a lot of heart chakra healing, a lot of healing in general. Like green in general is the color of nature, but it's also the color of the heart chakra. So I see you, Lonnie, having done a lot of the work, okay? Which is amazing, because it's not easy to do. It's very difficult. It's painful at times. But I do see that there's been a transformation in you. So the butterflies as well, especially a representation of transformation. And I do see this transformation that has happened, and you've been on a serious journey. Like even here, I feel like if you can see the mountains in the background and the path that you've come through, like you've come a long way, girl. You've come a long ass way, okay? You were in Mordor, all right, before you came to Fairyland. Literally, I can feel like the orcs in the background, and like the Lord of the Rings music. So you're finally starting to blossom and bloom. And I think that's a natural, thank you, Fedora. I think that's a natural fear, because you've done so much work. You've put so much effort into it. And now you're like, the last thing I want is for some a-hole to come in and destroy all of my work. Here's the thing, guys. That can only happen if you give your power away. Okay, so you got to remember that you have the choice, you have the power, you have the strength to say no and to walk away. This doesn't mean it's going to be easy, comfortable, or fun. Okay, but the reason why also this is so important, the journey that you've taken, is because if it was easy, you wouldn't fight for it. If it was an easy journey, you would have gone like, okay, the next one that comes here, take it, whatever, I don't care. But the point is that this is where you got to start trusting yourself a little bit more, because you started building up self-respect because of the work that you put in. It's very unlikely that somebody can take that away from you that easily, okay? Now, it doesn't mean that you can't be manipulated, because people can manipulate. But again, this is where we're starting to learn, right? So this is a major arcana card that came up the second. Yes, you are ready. That's why I was laughing. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them. Life is magical. So you're ready, okay? Yes, you're ready. Yes, and it's a major arcana, so it's the number one. It's the start, okay? You're ready for this journey. You're ready to take on this journey. Now, when we get into new relationships, by the way, guys, there is this thing that we have a choice to do things slowly. Okay, we don't have to jump into things. We don't have to, my old pattern is like, I'm all or nothing. I'm intense. If you guys haven't figured that one out by now. So when I would get into relationships, I'm like diving in first. I was like, let's get married and let's move in together. Like I was like psychotic. Okay. But because I came from serious abandonment issues, and I was so fucking needy, because what that was stemming from was the fear of the person leaving, because I have abandonment issues. So I'm like, cling on to them. Don't leave me. Stay with me forever. Obviously that was years of healing, and then I met my husband, which by the time I met my husband, I'm like, meh, I don't care, I don't need anyone. I mean, not that I didn't need anyone, I wasn't looking, I didn't have that need anymore because I'd done so much work that I was so happy and comfortable by myself. It was so peaceful for the first time not to have that like desperation. And it changes your frequency, it changes also who you attract, and also you're not going to put up with like shitty behavior. So okay, so this is what I'm talking about, the work that you've done. Okay, so you're ready for it. Now, does it mean that you're not going to be tested? Does it mean that you're not going to have challenges? Yes, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be tests. Sometimes, no, sometimes the universe is like, you know what? You learned your lessons. Here is the reward. Sometimes it's going to be like, look, we're going to test you out because we want to make sure that you are sure with yourself. So when you get into a new relationship, like my favorite thing that happened with my husband is that first and foremost, we were friends for 3 years before we even started dating. I'm not saying you have to take a century, but again, I was in such a place that plus I didn't know he liked me. It was like a whole thing. And then when I realized, it was like, oh no, whatever. But I really appreciated the fact that we were friends first. There was no rush. There was no like neediness or it has to happen now. Once it happened pretty quickly because we both knew what we wanted by that point. But I really like the fact that if I was to date now, I would approach it so differently. Like I definitely would not sleep with anyone on the first date, second date, or third date. I would take a while before I would go there. I would definitely like get to know them. 3-month mark always gives you enough red flags. By the 3-month mark, if I've gotten 2 or 3 red flags, I'm out. And we're not talking about issues with the person. Everybody's going to have issues. Everybody's going to have problems. Everybody's going to have something that it's not going to be perfect or that we're going to love, and vice versa. All right. But what I'm talking about red flags, Lonnie, are the flags that you repeat in relationships. Those are your red flags. So for me, it was violence. If somebody shoved me, pushed me, obviously any of that, I mean, that was enough for me to go, okay, this person has violence in them. But like, obviously, if somebody slapped me or punched me, that's a no-brainer. But oftentimes, abusers will hold off to the violence until they have you. And then once they have you, that's when they start playing the games, right? That's usually the narcissistic tendencies or the psychopaths, whatever. So what are the red flags that you've experienced, right? What are the patterns that you've seen? Even the way that they speak, their behavior. Do they prioritize your needs? Do they prioritize you? Do they speak and follow through with action? Or do they say something and then they don't? And then you're having this gut feeling like something's off. So that's where you got to trust yourself. And if the person's not right, just walk away. Walk away. You got nothing to lose because you got yourself again. And then finally, the final card that you got, a relationship that continues to grow, forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. So this is pretty epic for you. Okay, so there is a relationship possibility, but this relationship is also representing the relationship in your past. So it's time for you also to forgive yourself in the past. Because here's the thing that we don't realize, guys, when it comes to abusive relationships, this is a very hard one for the victims, is that you allowed yourself up to a point to be abused. And this is speaking from myself, okay? So you have to forgive yourself for allowing that to continue. There's a part of you that has to take some level of accountability. So in any situation, this is something that I've been learning lately, which I really, really love. In any type of creation or situation, there's always 3, the number 3. We always see it in like the woo-woo community or whatever. But there is the victim, the predator, and then there's the circumstance, okay? And so all 3 are accountable. All 3 have something to do with what happened. And even though, yes, I get it, you were the victim, and no one's taking that away, at some point you continued to go back. At some point you allowed the behavior to continue. At some point, and whether it is that you didn't know, whatever, that's the part of you that's got to forgive that side of you and say, hey, I forgive you for not knowing any better. I forgive you for not walking away. I forgive you for sticking around. Why? Because you were desperate, because you wanted to be loved, because you wanted that person to be obsessed with you, because you wanted to save them, because really deep down you wanted to save yourself. or your dad or your mom. You know, it's always like trying to save some kind of situation or fix something that you couldn't fix in your life or within yourself. It's always a reflection. So when we fix ourselves, we no longer need to fix the outside anymore. Therefore, we stop attracting these people that are so fucking damaged, and we just do the work for ourselves and no longer make it about them. It's always about us healing ourselves. So there is some forgiveness that needs to be continued to be done. So even though you're going to start getting into relationships lonely, there is still going to be some work, okay? And it's an ongoing thing. But you are ready, okay? But please do me a favor. If you do see any red flags, you have to walk away. You have to honor that. You have to respect yourself. And this is the part of you that is forgiving yourself by saying, bitch, I'm not letting you down ever again. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself the way I'm teaching right now. I'm like, bitch. But you know what I mean, right? It's like you're not abandoning yourself this time. You're saying, all right, this time I'm going to do the right thing. If it happens, if it doesn't happen, you're good. But if it happens, but this is also, again, you got to be careful not to take it too far, you know, where it's like the person says one wrong thing and you're like, me, fuck you, I'm gone. You know, like there has to be some level of like, you know, again, like I said, when I was healing, you know, I was dating somebody and this person shoved me. They literally physically shoved me. And my hip hit the corner of the table. And immediately I was like, yeah, nah, that's too far. You know, I'm like, the fact even that this person had to shove me or whatever, it's like we weren't in the relationship long enough for it to be like that. But that was enough for a sign for me to go, yeah, that's a red flag. You know, but back in the day, you would have like, I would have made a million excuses like, oh, they were just angry or whatever the story is, you know. So yeah, okay. So it's looking good though, but you are ready. And again, you can always come and ask, you know, you can always, there's always people that you can talk to. I mean, sometimes talking about it can help, and always go to the person who is secure in themselves, who does have confidence, who would not put up with that shit. Like, trust me now, if somebody did half of the stuff that I put up with when I was younger, I would literally throw them out the door, like physically throw them out the door. There's no way that I would put up with half of the crap that I allowed done to me because of that desperation. I mean, I got stories, guys, that I didn't even share half of my crap on here because it's so intense and so bad. But at the same time, it's really good because that's why I can teach this stuff. I've come a long way, you guys. You explained abuse situations so well. Yeah, thank you, Jamie, because I lived it for most of my life. And again, you know, it does take a level of accountability too, you guys, because the abuse only happens up to a point. I'm not talking about when you get kidnapped. Okay, that's a very different situation. We're talking about, we keep going back to the person, and you got to ask yourself why, you know. All right. So, did that help you, Loney? Do you feel like you got everything that you need today? Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so excited for you, though. And I'm proud of you for doing the work. Honestly, I know what it takes. And I promise you that when you do find somebody who really loves you and respects you, it was worth it. It was worth the abuse. It was worth the crap. It was worth the journey. It was worth all of it, you know, honestly. I'm so grateful for my husband, even though he pisses me off sometimes and I piss him off. We really love each other, and it's just, you know, it's amazing to meet somebody that can really care about you, you know, and you feel safe with. For me, safety is a big thing, clearly, because of my past. So, anyway, all right, we got Mapacho. What's up? All right. Let me just disconnect energies with Lodi. I feel like by the way, if you guys are asking what I'm doing, I literally plug into you. So when I'm like here, I see an energetic cord and I detach that energetic cord and then I plug into the next person. So FYI, I'm telling you my secrets. And I actually have to feel the connection, because if I don't feel it, then I know it's not going to work. Okay. I understand I'm in a place of my life taking big shifts and chapters. Last time I got the new life card first, and am just seeking clarity on what that means and what I can focus on. Right now I feel like I'm stagnant in comparison to my life previous to when I found out I had cancer. Oh, I'm so sorry, love. I didn't know you went through that. The cancer is gone, but my life feels so unclear, even though I have a lifetime worth of skills. I feel called to be still and heal. I'm just spinning a bit, but also feel very peaceful and present and grateful. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. Me too today. Don't worry. We can be all over the place together. First of all, I'm so sorry that you went through that. That must have been really scary and intense. And also now that I met you, so it's I wish I could give you a hug. I'll give you a hug next time, hopefully, if you come to my class again. Um, yeah, there's a lot I'm picking up. So let's just see what comes up. So sometimes when life is stagnant, like you said, it's just a matter of being a little patient, because the quiet times often feel like you're not moving or getting anywhere. But I always like the saying, it's like, fairies want to come out. Just because you don't see anything happening doesn't mean nothing's happening. There's sometimes this is the period where energetically things are happening in the 5D world, and we're not seeing it on the 3D. And this is the time that we got to keep that strength, that hope, and do the work behind the scenes. So let's see what comes up. I see what you mean. So money's an issue. Okay. You know, it's really funny because I have a situation with a friend right now who's struggling financially as well. So this might relate to you as well. Oh, okay. She is very much struggling. You know, she has a lot of health problems, a lot of chronic pain. So for her, it's very hard even to like do a normal job because it's constant. Like she's got frozen shoulder. She suffered from pain for most of her life, and then on top of that, she's only ever done one type of job, but she doesn't want to do it again because it just makes her miserable, which I understand. And we did a session together, and in the end, what came up, I was like, love, if you don't sort out your finances, you cannot get out of fight or flight. And when you're in fight or flight, you can't think, you can't act in a place of clarity. Everything is just a big fog. And so long story short, I was like, you need to go and get a job, and understand it's going to be temporary, this job. It's not going to be your defining, but you need to get your finances back up so that you can feel safe, so then you can make the decision as to what you want to do. Because she was thinking of selling her house. Like she was trying to make big decisions to save herself. But I was like, you got to go and get a job. And it's not that she didn't want to. She just didn't know. I mean, when you're in fight or flight, you can't think. You can't think straight. Yes. And so I said to her, I was like, you just got to this is what I called, again, going back to the fucking triangle, guys. I'm telling you, this triangle is powerful. This I actually learned it in business, though. If everything's important, this is being everything, okay? It crushes you. Nothing's important. So when it comes to being in fight or flight, thank you, Nakisha. I got you down on the list. When you understand that when you're in fight or flight, and I used to teach this in rehab a lot as well, because I worked with a lot of people in rehab, the most important thing has to be your priority. And that's the only thing you need to focus on. So in rehab, it's your sobriety. If you can't get your sobriety fixed, your life is going to be terrible. Your home, even your job at that point is not even important when you're trying to get sober, right? The most important thing is get yourself sober. Everything else will sort itself out. So with my friend, I was like, you got to get your money sorted, because if you can't get your money sorted, everything else is not going to get fixed. And so the next day she literally went and applied for 4 jobs. She like super motivated, and she felt a million times better. She suddenly already started feeling that security, and that shifts your frequency. Okay. You went through that healing from being sick. Yeah. Anyway, let me see what's coming up. I'm getting a few messages, but I want to just go a little bit deeper. The fairies wanted to come out for you, big time. I was like, oh, it's not like I don't like working with the fairy cards. It's just these cards are, I don't know. I think I underestimate their power. Probably like fairies, people underestimate them. Woo. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. So first card that you got is courage. Okay. This, be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. So this is a warrior spirit card. Okay. So this is a time when you think about the warrior spirit essentially is that person that is going, no fighting, you guys. It's going through a battlefield right now. And I think, Mapacho, that's what's happening to you right now. It's almost like I see you, everything is just crumbling down slowly, slowly. It's just this big mountain that I feel like you might have to climb. I'm not sure what that challenge is, right? But essentially, like, embodying the warrior spirit is like saying, all right, I am going to do what I have to do regardless of how I feel, regardless of what is happening, regardless of what's going on. So in this situation, and let me just want to see what you said. So finances. So it's going to take some courage for you to basically like step up, move up, whatever it takes. And again, I don't feel like you're not courageous. It doesn't mean that you're not a courageous person, but we all have parts in our lives where we need to be, where we do have fear, where we do hold some kind of, I don't know, like block. I'm trying to find it. We'll go a little bit deeper. I'm sure it'll come out throughout the reading. So literally, like I said, Mapacho, prioritize. This came out after, by the way. So focus on your highest priorities. It will help you get organized and motivated. Okay. Literally what I just said. So I need you to take a moment and really think about the number one problem in your life right now. The number one thing. Yes, everything is still, and you're listening to your intuition. That's great. But it still doesn't mean that you still can't do things while things are settling. Okay. So what is the number one priority right now? And that can, by the way, guys, that can change depending on your situation, depending on your circumstances. Okay. You got to remember that. That definitely can change. But as of right now, whatever's going on in your life, close your eyes for a second. Connect to yourself. And anybody can do this, by the way. Just feel your body, feel your presence. Your body, your mind, you know exactly what you need to get out of this or to move forward or to get to the next step. Okay. And this is where you're teaching yourself to tune into your own self to get the answers. And so you feel, and then you ask yourself, higher mind, reveal to me what the number one priority is right now for me. The rhyming was an accident, by the way, guys. I've been doing a lot of like rituals and stuff. And so whenever I find myself just like rhyming everything all the time, I'm like, that's kind of cool. Accidental, but it's cool. I should have been a rapper. See, Anyway, so by the way, there was a period there that I thought I could have been a rapper. That's a whole other story, you guys. It's when I smoked way too much weed. Anyway, so prioritize, Mapacho. So as I said, literally there's no accident when I told you that story. Okay. So you got to figure out what that priority is and beginning to make that the most important thing. And life can distract us. Responsibilities can distract us, which is obviously normal. But it's like, what is that number one thing that I got to sort out? And usually it's the biggest pain point. Usually it's the part in our lives that is genuinely the biggest pain point. So let's just say it is money, right? Okay. Warrior spirit needs to step forward. What would the warrior spirit do in this situation? Now, I don't know what the circumstances are, I'm sure there are obstacles along the way. There are things that are making it difficult or challenging for you to get to whatever it is that you want. But again, that's what the warrior spirit is. The warrior spirit is like, I don't care if I have no legs and no brain. I'm going to figure it out. So that's why I love the warrior spirit, because oftentimes we'd be surprised at what we're capable of. And like I said, my friend who has chronic pain, I told her, I was like, my love, you've been in pain for most of your life. This is not new. I was like, you've been through way worse pain than this. I'm not saying that it's not painful. I can feel her pain. I can see it. But I was like, but girl, you've been through 20 times more painful things. Physically, I mean. And she was like, you know what? You're fucking right. I started a nonprofit must be this because I saw art and hands. Very cool. Okay. So the next card that came up was clear intentions, crystal clear intentions. Okay. So be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. Now that you know what it is that you want, now that so make a detailed plan. So again, when we set goals for ourselves, guys, and we have intentions, like one thing I've learned is that if I write down my goals every time. I don't let them be in my head. I don't let them just be floating around. The reason why I can achieve so much and I can do so much in a year, it's because I set very clear goals, and I also give myself not so much a time frame, but I know what the steps are to get there, and I just do it. And that's why I have a lot of the warrior spirit. Is like, I don't care if I didn't have enough sleep. Of course, some days I'm going to give myself like a little bit of a break. But normally I'm like, if I have to work 15, 16-hour days to get to where I need to get to, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. That's just what I got to do. I'm okay with that. I love it. There was a time, though, that I didn't love it. So what is your intention? And now start to make a plan, whether it is to take pen and paper and write down your goals. And sometimes we think it's one thing and sometimes it could be another. And again, remember, that can always change, okay? So whatever it is, you want to start the nonprofit. Okay, what does that mean? Where is it going to go? What is the steps to get it started? What are you going to work on tomorrow or this week? Like, I do everything like that, Don't fight. I see you, little smartass. Oh, you're cute though. Got my hamsters fighting. Because that, number one, also helps you. First and foremost, it gives you drive. First and foremost, it gives you direction. It keeps you accountable. And the accountability is very, very important, because life, like I said, will show up, will distract you. Like today, I let life distract me and I ate crap and whatever, which is fine, because like I'm deflating from writing this book and all that sort of stuff. But I know me. I know I'm like, all right, you got a second to relax and have fun, girl, but we're back on that train by next week, and I keep my word. I'm very good at keeping my word, so I trust myself. But oftentimes I couldn't always do that at first. So making a plan, and you may not follow through the plan sometimes. That's okay, but the point is you made a plan. You're starting to build that inner vision, that path that's going to lead you to the goal. So very, very important, guys. And again, when it comes to business, when it comes to building anything, you got to write it down. Don't sit there and like, oh no, I see it. You do you, boo. I'm just saying. Even with manifesting, this is why I write down my affirmations. I don't just say them out loud, because there's something about the physicalizing of your intention, of your thought into the physical, that does something energetically. So the next thing you got is shine from within, moon energy, and lost and found. Okay, so true beauty shines from within, and it's time for you to shine. This is a time for self-acceptance and for revealing your true beauty. But what I'm getting here as well, it's like some inner child stuff. I don't know why. Something to do, I don't know if this is going to help you, my bacha, but like for me, everything that I do is for my inner child. Whenever, that's where I find my fire, that's where I find my drive. It's because little me suffered a lot, and I feel like she didn't get the love and the attention and what she really deserved. And so my older self now is doing everything to become the version that she always dreamt that she would be or could be or whatever. So that is the fire that I have. I'm doing it because it's something greater than myself. And that's why I have so much energy and intention and power behind everything that I do. So there's something here to do with your inner child as well. Bringing her light back. Yeah, I love that. I love that, Absolutely. Giving her the love, the light, everything that she deserved, because at the end of the day, a child deserves everything, right? But it's so sad when a child's light is taken away. The world can do that very easily. So there's something here to do with your inner child and the shining of it, so allowing her maybe to also tell you what she wants, or there's some kind of expression. I'm not getting very clear on it, but I think you are. And so that's the most important thing, is that you get that information for yourself. Now, the moon energy came up, and I love this card because this is usually to do with moon rituals. it's also the ebbs and flow of life. So it has two meanings, I think, right now for you. Number one, like you said, you're going through a phase right now. And I think, like you said, you're feeling that. So this is a time of not action. Maybe this is a time of planning. But just because nothing is happening again, that's the time that you should be planning. This is the time that you should be doing the work that I just said, which is prioritizing, making the map, figuring out what it is your steps are going to be. So when that energy does kick in, then you can take action. But also what I'm getting here is some releasing needs to be done. Whenever I hear moon, especially like full moon energy and all that sort of stuff, it's like, what do you need to shed? What is it that you need to let go of? What is it that you need to surrender completely to embrace this new phase, to move into that new chapter in your life? Because if it's filled up with a lot of history, it's very hard for new energy to come in. So there could be something here that is needing your attention to heal, to free, to break free from. I'm not quite sure. Again, you got to trust yourself here. Now, one of the things I love doing, I don't know when there's going to be a next full moon, but you don't really need a full moon to do this, is like I oftentimes like will write down on a list of things that I'm ready to release, or write a letter to my old self, and then I will burn that. And this, the burning is the symbolizing, is like I break free from it. So sometimes doing little rituals like this can be very powerful and very symbolic. So I feel like there's something here that needs to be done around that. The last card that you got is the lost and found. What was once lost is about to be found. Thanks to the lost and found fairy, sometimes she can help us find things we never even realized were lost. Okay. So what I'm... Aww. I love that. So yeah, and maybe that's her light, you know. Maybe it's like I feel like, again, I feel like you've lost something. I feel like something was lost. A part of you was lost. A part of you is gone forever. It's never going to come back. The trauma, the experience, whatever happened, is like it damaged you forever, and like now you're a wounded animal. There's no way that you could ever go back. And this card is basically saying, is like, it's not. Oftentimes when we feel that, it gets alchemized. So that dark energy can be transformed into the most powerful light you've ever seen. But again, it's my favorite saying is like, hurt people, and heal people, right? So the hurt person who becomes healed, which essentially they do that. There's basically two journeys, guys. There's the villain, and then there's the hero's journey. Both go on the same road, except one makes one decision and one makes another decision, right? And the ones that lose their light are the ones that basically say, all right, I've become the villain somehow, and I'm now like hurting other people because of the hurt that I experienced. And then the hero's journey is like, I am becoming beyond that light, which is the warrior spirit, and I'm using this pain to make sure that no one else ever experiences this pain again, which for me, like I said, that inner child. So you haven't lost it. It just needs to become something else. It needs to transform into something else. So that pain, that suffering, it becomes alchemized into something. So for instance, my pain has become me teaching people about it. I use it now to do good. I educate people. I try not to let anybody else have to experience what I went through, because it is fucking horrible. And it sucks, and it can be prevented if somebody would just taught me this, you know. So that's the idea behind it. So does that make sense? She's losing hair. That's not good. It's okay. I can be a bold witch. I'm not going to be bold. That would really suck. So does that make sense, Mapacho? I feel like, I don't know if I've given you a direct answer as to what you probably want. There's like a lot of information here, but just let me know if there's anything else that you feel like you need clarity on, or feel like you've gotten enough for today to get you to the next step. I don't know if she's still there. Are you still there? Where's the card? Maybe there's a bit of a delay. That's okay. I was just asking, do you feel like you got everything that you needed? Oh, you got booted. Oh no. What did you do? I was asking, do you feel like you got enough for today to get you to the next step, or do you feel like you need anything more? Yeah, I think we closed it up there. So yeah. Oh, that's good. I'm so glad. Yay. You got this, man. But please make that plan, okay? I'm telling you, you need to sit down and do it, okay? That's your homework. You have to, because guys, if we don't do it, I'm telling you, it's like night and day difference. It speeds up the process or it makes it slower. It's like really that simple. All right, Mel, you're next. And then I've got Melinda Martine, sorry. Uh, Fedora, and then Keisha. So that's the list that I have, by the way. Oh, and thank you so much for your very generous donation, Keisha. I really appreciate that. Yes, show me in the next class. I want to see it. All right, so let me close the energies. All right. Okay, Mel, let's see what comes up. Hey, Reedy, good to see you. So right now I have one, two, three, four people in line, my love. So it's gonna be a little bit of a wild wait. You can always thank you. Yeah. This shirt is very funny. It says, "My tits are too nice for my life to be this way." Sorry, guys. Very inappropriate. My sense of humor. So and I went to I'm in a mood to piss people off, I guess, today. And I went to Trader Joe's with a hat on that said, if you want to save animals, how about you stop eating them? So I was like a walking sign today. I was just like pissing people off left, right, and center at the supermarket. I was like, they were looking at me in my hat, and I'm like, fucking vegan. Yep. She's in a mood to provoke today. All right, so let's see what's coming up, Mel. Ooh. Okay, doke. The itchy nose has started. I was surprised this whole time my nose hasn't gotten itchy, and now I just spoke too soon. Okay. So, thank you. So you got the wizard. Okay. So, Mel, the wizard is all about right now again, and I know you're doing a lot of work. Like I've know that you've been back here a few times and stuff like that, but this is all about, there's something about you, number one, needing to connect to your higher self, and number two, to step back at the situation and look at it from a higher perspective. The wizards are asking you to connect to your higher self to receive the answers you seek. They also urge you to take a bird's eye view of the situation, as this perspective will help you see the truth and make the right choice. So whatever it is that you're working on, or whatever it is that's going on, I always repeat this. I know I'm a broken record, guys, but I feel like needs to be repeated sometimes. It's like, for me, sometimes when I have to make decisions or things aren't working out, I always think of it kind of like, the biggest perspective that I could think of is like, well, what if I died and I'm in spirit form and I'm looking back at my life and I'm looking at this time that I'm going through right now, where there's a decision or a challenge or something that's going on, right? And what, from this perspective, how differently would I see it to when I'm in it? Because when you're in it, and it's like, your ego's attached. There's all sorts of things that we want, but when we're looking at it from the higher perspective, it's almost like everything makes sense. It's like you're thinking it from a spirit journey, from a life journey, not from just that moment. And so it can really, really help you put things in perspective really quickly. It's like, does this thing really, really matter? Or does this situation, in 20 years time, is it really going to make a difference? Like, what matters really right now from a spirit place? And I always go, well, this matters. And so it helps me change my mind and change my perspective very quickly. An example of that is like when I think about my parents often and I have so much resentment. And sometimes, I don't know if you guys have this, but I go on daydreaming journeys where I'm like having arguments with them when they're not there. I'm like playing case scenarios, which I know will happen in the future. And I'm like, somehow, like, my mind goes into like this journey of me being right and having these arguments with them. And then I'm just like, these are the moments that I sit back and I'm like, what would I do in the situation if I was to see it from the highest perspective, not from my ego? And when I look at it from that place, suddenly I feel like I embody this higher energy and I see myself change the scenario in my head completely different, like a very different approach to how I normally would do it. And so I think it happened to me even today when I was at the gym or something. I was like, for some reason, like, because I know I'm going to Italy next year and I'm going to see my dad. And I'm waiting for all these freaking arguments to happen because they always do, because there's patterns, there's always cycles. And in my head, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm probably going to say this. And then I was like, no, 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 we don't do this anymore. I was like, step back, higher perspective, embody that higher self. And my energy calmed down very quickly on top of everything else. So when you're daydreaming about these things, like, you get fired up. You get like angry and upset because you're like seeing it. And then suddenly when I embodied this, I just calmed down and I felt the power behind it. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to get to. That makes sense. And that's a win-win for everybody. That's a win for me and that's a win for them. And I was like, that's who I want to be. And it changed my mind. It changed my mood. It changed my daydreaming immediately. I went from a negative place to a positive place very quickly. And suddenly my heart was open again and I was ready to, whatever. So I don't know why I'm telling you this, Mel, but maybe you needed to hear that for some reason. So there's something in that. And that is also your higher self. When you start to think like that, that's when you are receiving information from your higher self. Your ego is going to be like, yeah, fuck them and fuck this and let's get into it. And then your higher self is like, I'm not going to waste my energy on this. I got better things to do. How about let's think about saving the world, or I don't know, whatever. So, it just changes everything. And suddenly you go from a place of where your power is being taken away from a person, a situation, a circumstance, from you being empowered, no matter the situation, the person, and the circumstance. It's like nothing can fucking beat me down right now. I'm in like my peace. You know what I mean? So that is like the energy that I find whenever I tune into that place where I bring it back and I'm like, I remember who I am now. No, we don't do that anymore. You got the werewolves as well. So, hey, Catherine. The werewolves invite you to connect with the energy of the moon and tune into cycles. Twice today we gotten people with the moon. When is the next full moon, by the way, guys? Because it's obviously coming up. So I feel like there's a moon coming up soon. Let me just check. I have it on my calendar. Okay, December 4th. Not December. I knew what day it was today. Apparently I didn't know what month it is, though. I meant November 4th. Close enough. Oh my god, I hate it. At Christmas. Okay, let's not talk about that. I have to buy presents. Okay, so November 4th, there's a full moon coming up. Okay, so this is, again, a huge opportunity. I feel like not just for you guys, but I think it's going to be for everybody. There's going to be some kind of letting go, releasing, choosing to move away from something, choosing to break free from a pattern, choosing from elevating from something. Yes, Julia, absolutely. So these are people that have given donations, but I can write you down. I got you written down. So once I get through the donations, I will just say whoever wants a reading after this, feel free. And I've got you down anyway, so gotcha, girl. So does that make sense? I lost track of thought. So yeah, so it's a time essentially to break free from something from the old. And we all have that part of us that we know is holding us back. That behavior, that pattern, that way of thinking, that cycle, that habit, something that I've been really working on is like, no, I'm still going to be drinking once in a while, but I don't want to be drinking as much as I was before. Something about me really, really, really wanting to shift my frequency to a whole new level. And when I sat with myself, I was like, as much as I like my glasses of wine, it affects my frequency because I have had a history, of course, of smoking a lot of weed. And so anything that you put in your system, especially when you're a teacher or when you do all the spiritual work, I think it affects you on a certain level. Doesn't mean that you can't do it. Doesn't mean that it's for some, for me, that's something that definitely I know influences me on a certain level. Again, doesn't mean I'm going to be 100% sober, because I don't really have a problem with drinking, but I know that anything that I put in my system affects my frequency, and it just does something that it basically can slow down my process in some ways. And I'm just like, I don't, it's not even worth it anymore. You know what I mean? So I'm like, so that's the part of me that, for instance, I'm ready to let go of, because I'm moving towards something much more valuable than that. Something that can give me so much more than that one night of like, haha, I was drunk and that was funny, you know. Although I drink by myself, by the way, guys. I actually have way too much fun by myself. I'm just by myself having my wine, watching TV and laughing my ass off. But like, at some point it's like, all right, do you really need it? No. Do I get hungover? Sometimes. I'm pretty good at not getting too hungover, but at the same time, it's not the point. The point is, there's something greater and a bigger goal that requires, by the way, a sacrifice, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And then, Mel, you got the warlocks. Okay, so there's a lot of heaviness actually here in a way, Mel. I mean, it's again, your life might be going great and everything might be fantastic, but that still doesn't mean that they're not undertones. Sometimes it's like we're feeling great, but like things on the outside aren't always great, and these can affect us. But you got the warlocks. Essentially, the warlocks invite you to see the truth, even if it is painful, dark, and mysterious. Do not be afraid, for fear will only control you. Instead, acknowledge the shadows within you, and from there, choose who you want to become. Literally what I just said. Avoiding the truth will only cast more shadows. So again, Mel, I feel like this is really about you choosing to go into, and this is shadow work. This is what I'm hearing is like basically shadow work for you. Going to the parts of you that you've suppressed, disowned, and denied, the aspects of you that are holding you back, and it's time to let these ones go. Because if I feel like you want to elevate, you want to upgrade, like I just said. But here's the thing, guys. This is a big lesson that I'm just learning this law. I'm going to dive a little bit more into it. So there's the law of three, which we just talked about, the triangle. So I'm going to bring it back to it again. The law of three when it comes to manifesting, and this is something that I'm learning because I want to teach more about manifestation, and I'm teaching myself, but this makes a lot of sense. So whenever we want to create or manifest anything, there's the law of three. Okay, so there's the intention, the will, the seed. I'm calling in this intention, this manifestation. But in order to get to the end of it, there's the second point, which is the sacrifice. You have to sacrifice something to get what you want. Okay, so for me, for instance, I want to upgrade my energy. My energy can be influenced by alcohol. Alcohol, by the way, in Arabic, alcohol means spirit. So you're basically allowing spirits in your system. So for me, it also has to be a sacrifice of something that is a big sacrifice. It's not like an easy sacrifice, like, well, I'm just not going to eat chocolate for a week. For some people, that might be a big sacrifice, by the way. I mean, and this is also kind of using the laws of magic, which is white magic, blood magic, and then black magic. But they're all neutral, by the way. Blood magic is really just a sacrifice again. So, of course, in the black arts, that is used to literally sacrifice a human or an animal, which we don't do that here. Please don't do that. That is stupid. But the sacrifice can also be like, I need to sacrifice my time in order to, if I, let's just say my intention is I want to go to law school. Well, guess what? You're going to have to sacrifice a lot, right? Or I want to change job. You're going to have to sacrifice something. And then the final step is the letting go, the trust, the hope. Okay, so there's the intention, the sacrifice, and then the letting go, the trust. And the trust means, by the way, that means regardless of the obstacles, regardless of the challenges that I'm encountering, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get to the end. I'm going to continue moving forward, regardless of what the outside world is showing me. But as long as you do these three steps correctly, you will succeed. About what the best help me to do shadow work. Thank you. So Mel, I have a video on my YouTube channel on how to do shadow work. So one of the things that I would do if I were you, because I can't really tell you that, you're going to have to find it for yourself. So one of the things we can do right now, you want to get pen and paper. And you want to write, you want to do automatic writing. This is the easiest way basically to find it. Whenever you get a second, essentially, you're going to close your eyes and you're going to write to, you're the guinea pig, to my shadow, channel to me and through me anything that I'm ready to let go of. To my shadow, channel to me and through me anything that I'm ready to let go of. And then essentially you begin to write a whole page. I would suggest at least an A4 page. You do not stop writing for about 10 minutes. So you set a timer, and the idea is that you go into a flow state. So it doesn't have to make any sense what you're writing. You're just answering the question over and over again, or repeat the question a million times until something comes through. You write the first thing that comes to you. Don't worry about punctuation, spelling, or anything. The idea is you're beginning to tap into your subconscious mind when you focus on that very one word, that one intention. To my shadow self, channel to me and through me anything that I need to let go of right now. That can give you information as to what is in the way. But when it comes to shadows, I'll tell you guys 3 things when it comes to shadow work, and this will be in my video as well. So the first thing about the shadow is triggers, okay? And I always like to think of it as a gun, because the gun, it goes off, right? So if you pull back the trigger, it's like our emotions. So what triggers you? What is the one thing that in your life right now is triggering you more than anything else? Okay. Great one, for instance, I'd say politics in the US. That triggers everyone, okay? So, but there's a shadow aspect to that everybody's experiencing, okay? So these are the parts of you that are not healed. There's a lot of wounding, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of suffering behind that. There's also a lot of rejection of something underneath all of that. And so that is something that needs to be healed, because when you heal your shadow, you're not going to get triggered anymore. So you can think of maybe something in the past that used to piss you off, and now that doesn't piss you off anymore. That's an example of healing a shadow. The second one is cycles, cyclical patterns, repetition, things that keep repeating in your life. You keep ending up in the same relationship over and over again with different people. You make money, you lose money. You make money, you lose money. You make money, you lose money. So whatever it is, that cycle that you find yourself in and that you can't get away from, that's another shadow, okay? Something that is unhealed, it's in your system that you keep attracting subconsciously, and the reason why you keep attracting it is because you need to heal it. The third one is reflection. That person pisses you the F off and you don't even know why. No, don't eat that. I didn't put those down for you to eat. Iggy, you smarty pants. So for instance, again, I'm going to just be triggering right now Donald Trump. Okay. He's somebody that pisses people off. He's arrogant. He's egotistical. He's very successful. He's very wealthy. All reasons why people get pissed off to look at that man. But somebody who doesn't have those shadows, somebody who doesn't have issues with being egotistical, wealthy, arrogant, he doesn't piss them off. So when we suppress, disown, and deny those aspects, when we make those things wrong and bad and evil, when we see it in another person, it triggers you. So for instance, for me, I know one of my triggers is, for instance, cruelty. People who are very cruel with animals. I'm very triggered by that. I have a lot of anger and resentment, and myself, ironically, guess what? Cruelty and violence against those people. So you see the mirror here? I'm aware of it. Now I got to do the work. I got to do the work to make sure that it doesn't affect me as much, because I have to bring in not so much even the compassion, it's the understanding of that. Once I understand that in other people, I understand that within myself, and it no longer becomes something that I resist, and therefore it doesn't become so much of a problem on the outside. So I hope that makes sense. No, don't eat that. Yes, pretty much whenever you have pets. Yeah, my guinea pigs especially, they like to eat anything. So Mel, does that help you in the sense of like trying to seek what that could be for you? Because essentially, like, we're all going to have layers, and we're all going to have multiple things that are obviously going on in the shadow, because nobody's perfect. But what is the one thing that you know in that realm that holds you back. So for me, for instance, is one of those things that causes me a lot of pain, like I just said, is like animal cruelty. I see it all the time because I work in rescue. It's something that brings up a ton of violence and anger within me. And so I'm just repeating the cycle at that point, right? Even though it's not towards animals, towards humans, like I get so mad that I'm just like, you know. But what I'm trying to do in this situation is like, as long as I allow this to affect me, it can ruin my whole day. When I see violence against animals, it's like I'm done for the rest of the day. I'm just, all I'm thinking about is that. So this is something that for me, it's a huge shadow. And this is something that can be holding me back, especially if I work in rescue, because then I can misbehave when I'm trying to maybe rescue an animal or something, and my violence can come out towards somebody, and then I can maybe hurt another animal, like not obviously like me hurting them as in like I'm trying to take it away from somebody who's abusing them, and then me acting out and being rude may prevent me from actually being able to get that animal. I'm just crazy scenario in my head that could happen, you know. But when I'm at peace and I accept that this person doesn't understand what they're doing, I don't obviously like it, but I'm like at peace with it, then I can actually communicate and get what I want from it. So does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. Yes. Thank you so much. So I know it's very complicated because, again, guys, I don't really have a one-on-one with you guys. So hopefully everybody gets this a little bit too. But we all have this. And I'm going to start becoming a little bit more controversial these days, by the way, because I'm not too afraid anymore of speaking up. Also because I've been doing more work. But yeah. And you guys know me by now. The ones that know me. All right, Mel. So sending you so much love. Thank you so much for your time. Just do the work. Do the channel writing though. I know that that's going to help you. All right, Melinda. Oh yeah. So Melinda, by the way, you also the one who came to my class too, right? Because it was you and Mapacho. I just want to make sure it was you. Oh, it wasn't you. Okay. It was Kat. Okay. I don't know why why did I think her name was Melinda for some reason? Thank you, Mapacho. I don't know why for some reason in my mind, I think because I have another client, it's got like blonde hair as well, and I was like, swap the faces, but thank you, now I know. All right. She doesn't. Tell her to show up dressed as a cat just for me so I can remember. Weird request. Okay, I would love to know if there are any messages for thigh hip area. Ooh, okay. If there aren't any messages about that, maybe some I thought it said massage intuition. Probably you need a massage. That's probably why that came through. Message my intuition. I've been trusting my intuition so much more lately and have been getting validation about it. However, I'm not really sure about the leg hip thing. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me tune into you. I'm going to disconnect with Mel. Okay, so first thing is first. It's okay. I got it. Don't worry. So first thing is first, which hip is it? Is it your left or is it your right hip? Because that does tell you a lot. Okay, that's the masculine side. Okay. So one of the things with the body, guys, there are things that we can do. So Melinda, I have had an issue with lower back pain to the point where I couldn't walk for like a week and a half once when I first pulled it. It was chronic pain for years and I actually healed it. But it took a while. So I'm going to give you a couple of things that I did that worked for me, may or may not work for you. But one of the things that we have to understand is the body, and in the area of the body, it tells us a lot about what's going on. Okay. So the right side is the masculine side. The left side is the feminine side. The feminine side is about receiving. It's about going with the flow. It's about relaxing, drawing in. The masculine, often related to the father as well, possible father wounding as well, or masculine wounding. It's about direction, moving forward, taking action. So when it's wounded, oftentimes it can mean that we have a fear about taking control, moving forward, stepping forward, going towards a direction. Excuse me. So when it comes to, let me just see. So it's the thigh and the hip area. So this is also, yeah, okay. The other thing is the hip area It's all related to your base chakra, your sacral chakra. So both of those might have something to do with that. Now, for instance, with my back, it was behind me, right? So it's in my past. So all of that back stuff, lower back stuff, was related to my past. And it's the lower back for me. Once I started looking into the body and what it meant, and I did a lot of research around it, it just made complete sense. It's like whenever I was stressed about money or safety or financial stuff, my lower back would just flare up. When I try too hard, when I push myself too hard, my lower back flares up because it's a fear of abandonment, fear of not being able to survive, all of this sort of stuff, again related around that chakras. And because I was sexually assaulted as a child for many years, my sacral chakra is completely smashed. So I have a lot of issues around that area because that's what happens when you get sexually assaulted. So your chakras just completely get destroyed. Not something that you cannot fix, by the way, but just letting you know that's my situation. So the first chakra that is created is the base chakra, and the base chakra is often related to, it's the first chakra that's created, so it means it's related to your childhood, to your tribe. That's okay, man. I'm good. I'm okay now. I was not okay for most of my life, but I'm good now, and thank you. I appreciate the compassion, but you know, it all happens for, I think it somewhat happens for a reason. I did lose my father when I was 11. Okay, so this is making a lot of sense, my Linda. Okay, but let's make this about you. So this makes a lot of sense because the base chakra is around not feeling safe. So people who don't feel grounded, don't feel like they have a tribe. So if you lost a parent, that's your tribe. Okay, so you lost a part of your tribe, and the father figure is oftentimes the one that makes us feel the safest. Okay, it's the one that keeps, it's the protector. Okay, so what I'm hearing here as I'm tuning into you as well, it's like there's a part of you, number one, obviously never really felt safe, never really felt protected in some kind of way. And I think what happens here, this is related to the hip, is like that's the reason why there's also a lot of fear of you moving forward and taking action and doing certain things, because you never, first and foremost, even had an example of that. Okay, you never had, I'm gonna cry now because I can totally relate to this, but it's like not having somebody teaching you these very basic skills that a lot of people get. But if you don't get that, it's like you're spending most of your life trying to figure it out, something that can be so easily available for most people. But one of the things that I've learned is like not to go into victim here. And this is also speaking for myself because my father left. But looking back, I really had this moment this week where I was just like, that is the best thing that could ever happen. I was like, bless my dad, but he's a total douche. Like he is a narcissist to the max. And I was like, if he was in my life, could you imagine the level of trauma that I would have today? Like, yes, little me wanted a father, and I love my dad. I was always a daddy girl, and I love my dad. And look, he's charming, he's funny, he's all this. But my God, he's self-absorbed. And my God, I mean, I've written 4 books. He hasn't even read one of them. I just have a show came out that I got like 3 million views. He hasn't even asked about it. Like, he does not give a shit about anybody else but himself. So I was like, could you imagine the younger, fragile me having my dad around? Is like, so the point that I'm trying to make here is like, sometimes things look like a curse, but there are other part of our journey to discover ourselves, part of the life lesson that we chose. And sometimes it can also be a gift, even though it doesn't feel like it. But let's go into the cards and let's see what that comes up. But yeah, I had to laugh. Yeah, I have a new show out, by the way, guys. It's funny. I don't know if anyone is into the vertical world. I believe it has to do with moving forward, that ultimately moved to Spain to be closer to my daughter. Aw, I've done so much amazing work and feel like I've come so far with my health, having neck surgery, etc. Oh, Melinda, now I got you. You got a different, you got a different logo. Having no, and have been feeling great about the future, even possibly dating again. Ooh, I've connected the dots, but you changed your logo. And then something like that comes up. Yes, it's me. Okay. So let's see what comes up. Do a little bit more. Those two are still the old ones. Well, this is making a lot of sense, though. And it makes sense, like, it could also be sometimes when we're trying to make, like, a breakthrough or something and we're trying to change things. Sometimes the parts of us and our ego is trying to stop us from, like, if you have abandonment issues, sometimes what it'll do is stop you from actually something good, because it's afraid that if you, like, have a bond again with somebody, that they're going to leave you again. So you'd rather the pain that you know than the pain that you don't know. You know, so it's like, I'd rather be lonely and sad than, like, have a bond with somebody and then they leave me, because that's going to be way worse than what I'm feeling right now. So sometimes the subconscious does shit like that. So one of the things, I know, I'm sorry, honey. And you see, and then there's more abandonment there, you know? Yeah. Yeah. But I do like the fact that you said that you're ready for a relationship. So let's find out what's going to come up. Let me just tune in. Yeah. Ooh, I haven't done this one yet. Ooh, that one flew out. Huh. Okay. Okay, so first card that came up. Oh, that's good. Yes. So plans that need revision, more going on that meets the eye, poor timing. Okay, so I do think that also this hip thing is happening, my love, is because I think there's a lot of things happening subconsciously right now in your world. So this change that you're doing, these intentions that you're wanting to do, the changes, like I said, I do feel like there is a lot of, like, subconscious things happening for you that you're not aware of, like I said, because especially when we're older, it's harder to sometimes to put the dots together, because it's like when we're younger, we're closer to our childhood and our past, so it's easier to, like, link things up. But the older we get, the more experiences we have, and we forget things or things change or whatever. So I do think that there is a lot of energies happening underneath the scenes for you. That is, like, a lot of stuff happening again in the subconscious world, which is why these things are flaring up, which is why these things are happening. Excuse me. So see, this is so good. Don't eat crap before you do a live. And they're settling in your leg, possibly, you know. When the body shows up a problem, it's because it's trying to speak to us. It's hard though, because you're in pain and then you're like, what the hell? But the hip, like I said, I would really recommend. So one of the people that I looked into, I did a ton of research online, but I also, like, Louise Hay was really good with that. Like, if you look online to Louise Hay, if you go Louise Hay, right leg pain, right hip pain, what does that mean? She has, like, a whole explanation on that sort of stuff. So you can start looking into that world and start understanding if things make sense or not. But essentially, pain is trying to get your attention, right? It's like an alarm going off saying, hey, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. And what we're taught to do is, like, here's a painkiller, let's just push through. And back in the day, imagine if there was no medicine or anything, we would have had to sit with the pain. We would have to deal with it. There's no other way. So sometimes with people, it manifests so bad that they have no choice but to listen and to do something. So we don't want to get to that. So hips, again, we're talking about these chakras here, right? The base chakra. So Melinda, you do a lot of research into chakras. Base chakra, what it means. The base chakra is also related, by the way, to the structure, to the bones, okay? To the solidity, the foundation of things, right? So there's something within the foundation of your subconscious, of your life, that needs revision. There's something that needs to be reset. There's something that needs your focus and possibly you to take charge, or to trust maybe even somebody else to take charge. I mean, it depends on your situation, right? Because it's like, if you have no trust in a father figure, but you might need a father figure in there. The next one is unity, traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations. Seek out a mentor, like-minded friends. But again, I'm getting really like father energy here. You see what I mean? It's like a guy and all the chakras. So what I'm hearing here is like, I feel like you got to do some like chakra work here. Okay. So do some base chakra work, some base chakra healing. I'm pretty sure I have quite a few meditations on that. So I would suggest just doing the work and just allowing the information to come to the surface. But the biggest thing that I did for myself to heal my back, it was essentially I would do the channeled writing that I just showed you guys, but speak to my back. So I would say to my lower back, speak to me, channel to me and through me anything that I need to know right now to help you heal. And I would do that almost every day because it was so crippling. Like I was like really badly crippled. My torso was here and my hips were there. Like my back, my spine was completely out. So it took a long time for me to figure out what it is that it needed. I saw at first it told me to go to a chiropractor. It's like you need to go to a chiropractor. So I was like, fuck it, all right, I'm just gonna listen. I learned to trust my intuition. So I went to a chiropractor. It helped. Then my chiropractor passed away. So then I was like, all right, that's not good. I hasn't thought about writing to my leg and hip. Yes, because you need to build a relationship with your body. We are not taught to speak to our bodies. We have to understand, guys, that our body is a machine. Essentially, it's an organic machine that we have been given for this lifetime that is coordinating with us to get us through the life. And it's designed to survive at its best. And then our soul essentially is shoved into it. And there's two of us in here. There isn't just one. So to me, it makes so much sense. It's like, I need to speak to my body and like say, hey, what's up? What's going on, dude? It's like, yeah, you're kind of broken. I'm like, yeah, no shit, man. Like, so I started talking to it. Or I'd put my hand, when I would meditate, I would put my hands on my back. And I would just listen and I would ask questions, okay? And I would just receive it. But long story short, I went to see the chiropractor, and then eventually I had that aha moment. Like, and we're talking, guys, like 3 to 4 years, my back was bad, okay? We're not talking about like 1 month. Saw the chiropractor, was manageable. Finally, I got the message, and I was doing one of the channel writing, and it said to me, your back is weak. You need to strengthen your back. And I was like, my past is weak because my relation, oh my God, everything makes sense. So I started doing back workouts. I started strengthening my back, and ironically, at the same time, I was healing my past, ironically. And guess what happened? I fixed my back. It was amazing. Like, I can do things now that I could never do before. So, but it took a long time, and you have to build that relationship with your body. You have to speak to it because it has a mind of its own. It's not you. We leave this vessel when we die. So it's a machine. It's something different. So do the channeled writing. That is something that I would do almost every day, especially when it flared up really, really bad. And I would speak to it, and you get a little bit more information every time. Then you're going to get to a certain level where it's better. Then you're going to get better and better. And you're going to notice it's not just the physical, it's the emotional and the spiritual, guys. The 3. When it comes to healing, it's always in the number 3. When it comes to manifesting, the 3. So does that make sense? So now I got one more thing. Events moving at a fast pace, delays are over, many things happening at once. Okay, so I do, when this card comes up, okay, Melinda, this is conflict. This card to me always represents conflict. Oh, thank you, Rosie. I appreciate you. Sending you love. So there is conflict happening within you, okay? So I feel like this is also related to something within that. There's inner conflict. There are parts of you that are not working together. Everybody has this, by the way. But it's like sometimes we're trying to push through something that isn't ready, or we're like forcing parts of ourselves to do something that doesn't want to do it. So when I'm hearing the conflict, again, this could be part of this, the flaring up. I don't know what type of pain you have. Is it nerve pain? Is it bone pain? Is it like that? Again, is going to tell you something, because mine was a pinched nerve. So the pinched nerve throughout my back, And anybody who knows anything about nerve pain, it is absolutely excruciating. So, and people think, oh, you can't fix a nerve. Bitch, I did. And I have to still be careful because it's still fragile. Like, I can't just like go and do backflips. You know what I mean? Like, I have to maintain it. I have to do back workouts at least 2 or 3 times a week. But I mean, it's night and day difference. Like, you can fix it, but you got to do the work. You got to figure out what it is. And yes, of course, I do believe in doctors, guys. I do believe in medicine. I do believe in all of that sort of stuff. But what are you doing to make it better? It's like, I mean, I've got so many stories about health stuff that just like drives me nuts. But again, there are certain things that happen that they're very subconscious that we don't understand. But what can you do? I mean, for me, it's like, even if something terrible happened to me, I would still do the work, Walk the positive talk. I love that. So, Melinda, simple homework for you. Do the channel writing. And I would suggest that you do it at least, if you can, almost every day. Like, whenever it flares up, you just sit with it. And the other thing that we're taught, guys, is running away from pain, which is of normal because the pain is painful. But again, what I would do is I'd sit with my back and I'd just be quiet and I'd just place my hands and I'd connect to it and I'd just talk to it like it was an actual person. I'm like, what's going on? What do you need? What is this pain? What are you teaching me? What do I need to understand? What is it that I'm not seeing? What emotional trauma blockage is this related to? But sometimes you might not get the answers there and then, but then this video might pop up, or this book might show up, or this person might say something. And then that's how you know you're getting the answers, because manifestation doesn't always work directly as like a voice in your head. It manifests sometimes in the right teacher showing up at the right time. So remember the channel writing, to my right hip. You got to be very specific. Channel to me and through me what I need to know to help you heal. What I need to know that is the block. Whatever it is your question for that day, you can change it. But the point is, who are you asking the question to and what is it that you're seeking from it? So to my lower back, channel to me and through me anything that I need to know right now that is causing me pain. Whatever it is that you need to ask that day. Trust yourself. All right, let's move on. Martine, best of luck, Melinda. You got this. And by the way, I didn't see a relationship yet, but I'm sure if you put the intention out there, you're opening up for it. Oh, you're welcome. I was just telling my husband today as well. I was like, we know so many people who get sick all the time and we're never sick, which we're not just bragging. I think maybe we're I mean, he's always out in nature and always like teaches tennis. I think he's very connected to nature. So I think that's the reason why he never gets sick. And I think I just believe that I don't get sick, maybe, and that's why I don't get sick. I don't know. Martine, yes. Hi. What's your question, my love? Do you have a question, or are you just giving a donation? That's fine too. But I saw you gave a donation. So do you have a question for your reading? Is there something that I can help you with, direct you with? And I'm very good, by the way, guys, again, at giving you, like, you can see more like coaching, I feel like, kind of ideas. Yeah, it's a good idea. I think I have, Mimi, I do think I have some meditations on healing your body. If it's not on Insight Timer, I would check my YouTube. Oh, that's good, Melinda. I love that. Yeah. And me too. Like, I do have like like I said, the lower back stuff, and also getting old. It comes with the territory, wear and tear, like the body will eventually have some things that you have to adjust over time. It's just natural, but yeah, it's always interesting to me how some people are always sick, and then some people just like don't really get sick. And I don't think, I don't know, I just feel like it's related to a lot of things. Will your business be successful? Okay, so let's find out about your business. You're trying to get a loan by Friday. Okay, so let's find out. And then I've got Fedora and Nakisha. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. I will get to you soon. I appreciate your patience. These readings do take a little bit. There was quite a few of you today, so I'm very grateful for that. But I'm just a reminder, I hope that everybody's getting something today, even just by hanging out, and not, you don't have to get a reading to get a reading, really. I feel sometimes. Oh, that's nice, Fedora. I love it when, you know, it makes me so happy when I see people cheering for other people, for their success. It's the way to go, you know. Thank you, Bindi. I appreciate that. Because, you know, like, you got to think of it this way, guys. Because the people who get jealous and envious of other people's successes or want other people to succeed, it goes to show how much lack you have within you. And if you are cheering somebody on, the reason for that is because if they succeed, that means that you can succeed too. It's that simple. Hi, honey. Good morning. Oh, little munchkin. I got cages everywhere, just for those of you who don't know. The little hamsters come out to say hi. I see you, handsome. Yeah. Oh, I love him so much. Oh, thank you. Absolutely, B. So I'll just put you down. Got you there. Oh, okay. Interesting. So, oh, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. So, Martine, very interesting. Okay. You've gotten 3 Michaels, all blue. Okay. So, blue is all about the throat chakra. Okay. So, there's a couple of reasons why the throat chakra comes up. Now, first and foremost, I need you to be very, very, very careful about the way that you speak to yourself and that you speak to others and the universe above everything else. Throat chakra is actually a portal, and it's the chakra that is dividing the physical to the spiritual. Okay. So people think about the throat chakra as just like, oh, I'm saying words and that's what's coming out. No, 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 no. It's not just that. Your words are spells. Okay. So the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you speak to others, and the way that you speak to the universe. Again, I'm telling you. See, the Illuminati were onto something with the triangle, guys. So what are you telling yourself, Martine? What are the words that you're speaking to yourself about your business, about this loan kind of thing, about this situation? Okay. Because also, like, if I'm saying, oh, like, let's just say you talk to other people about business, like, you don't have to either brag or anything like that. You don't have to say something that you don't believe, but don't ever say something that puts you down. Be very careful with that, because sometimes we can make that happen. And especially to the universe, it's like, you owe me something, universe, or fuck you, or whatever it is. Like, we got to be careful with that. Because again, those words can manifest, and essentially it's just a reflection of what's really what we feel. So if there is negative, don't feel like you have to force yourself not to say something that's not true. But like, notice the ones that aren't in alignment with what you want, where you want to go. And we all have that, by the way. Like, I find myself saying shit all the time, and I'm like, is this something that I want to manifest? Probably not. So I change it. You know, I change it to universe. I call upon you to help me shift this frequency, to help me align this energy to what it is that I want. Okay. But the point is, we got to be aware of it. And sometimes we say things we don't even know that we're saying. So the first card that you got here is, there is a better course of action available to you. Working alone may not be the best answer. Review all the details. So I do feel like it's not going to be as smooth and as easy as you want it to be for some reason. I do feel, however, it's a blessing in disguise. If it doesn't work out the way that you want it to work out, it's because they're guiding you towards something that's much better. Oh, you're welcome, Jack. That's awesome. I love that. So again, I don't know if you're going to get the loan or not. I'm not seeing that specifically, but I do feel like you're going to have some kind of a decision to make. There's going to be like Okay, so we're going to offer you left or right, or there's going to be like, you're going to either have to make a choice to go here or there. Okay. So what essentially this means is, like, you see, it's like the angel stops you from going down the wrong path and it's pointing this way, which is the best path for you. So this means that at some point within your business, this is basically going to come up. Or if you feel as though there's been like a block, something saying, no, you can't have this, do not take it as a no. It doesn't mean it's a no. It's like saying, hey, we're showing you where you need to go. So do not go down this road. We're actually doing you a favor. Rejection is protection. Okay. And again, these are the things that you got to start saying to yourself. Rejection's protection, rejection's protection, because it changes your frequency immediately from lack to abundance. Especially with business, you got to be in an abundant mindset. You can never be in a lack scarcity mindset, because guess what? You're going to manifest that. I do love to study a lot of like the business people. And if you notice anyone who's ever successful, very successful, they don't take no for an answer. They just, who was it that was Edison, I think, said that, is like, he took him like 1,000 tries before he made the light bulb or some shit like that. And he was like, somebody said, oh, but like, why didn't you quit after the 100? Is like, well, I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work. And then I found it only takes that one time for it to work. Okay. The next thing is contracts. Okay, so I'm getting a couple of things here: spiritual contracts and actual physical contracts. Okay, an exciting new challenge. You have what it takes to succeed. Review contracts or documents very thoroughly. So I do see a contract coming in for you. So this could be the loan coming in. Okay, because you have to sign a contract, which is a good thing. So I take that back. I do see a possibility for that, because now I see it. But one of the things that you want to do is you want to clear out any negative contracts that you have, again, with money and with not succeeding. So let's just say in your past, your family has failed in business. We somehow subconsciously might take that on. We want to break that contract. Or we've had a past experience in the past where, something bad happened. Essentially what I'm hearing here, Martine, is like you want to clear out all these negative contracts that you have in your past with money, all these sort of things, these blocks that you've experienced in the past. Like, you want to release these patterns, these contracts. I recently did, it's going to come up on Insight Timer, but I'm getting this one for you. Okay. And it's going to make sense. So it's essentially a meditation around clearing out hexes and curses. And I don't feel like you have a hex. I don't feel like you have a curse. Okay. Let's just make that very clear. But what I do feel is like you need some kind of a ritual to break free from that negative cords. So that meditation, which should come up hopefully in the next few days, I recommend that you do it, because it's like an awakening ritual. And I also have a rage ritual meditation, rage your way to abundance. So things like this to help you break off the old cycle so that you can open up this new chapter and bring in that success, bring in that like abundance that you are working for and that you deserve. But remember also the triangle when it comes to manifesting. There's the intention, things roll forward, and then the sacrifice, and then the letting go, the trust, which means I'm going to get there regardless of what it's going to cost or how far it's going to go. The other thing that came up, it'll be better if you just make a decision. Over analyzing a problem, find the compromise. Okay, so I feel like at some point, one of the things that blocks you from the success is also the way that you think sometimes. Do not eat that. So I think sometimes you get in your head and you have a hard time making a decision, or there's like two parts of you that are just like butting heads. It could also be somebody that you're working with, but I just feel like there's just like this conflict, right? There's like the two heads butting. So when this kind of situation happens, it's like you got to compromise sometimes. You got to be okay to be flexible, a little bit more flexible. You got to be willing to be a little bit more open. The guinea pig's running. He's so cute when he runs. So that's the kind of thing, right? So that rigidity that you sometimes have, yes, it's a gift because it makes you push through the hard times, but it can also be your curse, because then, when the time needed for you to be flexible, like I love the bamboo example, right? Because bamboos they're so hard to break because they're so flexible. So, but if you're rigid, you just snap. And we don't want that. And so that's when you break sometimes, literally. That's when you just like lose your shit, or there's like things get too much and then you snap. So you don't want that. You want to find a way to be a little bit more flexible in certain situations, that learning and adaptability. So this is essentially all coming in for you to get to that success. Okay. So success is really a choice at the end of the day. And I know people don't want to hear this, but like Success takes work. Success takes adaptability. Success takes growth. Success takes work. Even people who have been successful, you know, they still have things to learn throughout their lessons, you know, and maybe their life lesson isn't a money lesson, but then they wouldn't have started a business and gotten to there. They would have just been given the business. So it's a very different situation to somebody who's starting a business and seeking success. Means you got to take that journey. So does that make sense? So all I'm seeing is the things that essentially are in the way that you got to fix to get there. Okay, cool. Do you have any more questions, or do you feel like you got what you wanted? It's funny how you got like 3 of the same. So throat chakra, just be aware of the throat chakra. Yeah, Jack, I don't know where I learned that. I think I just downloaded that information because it made sense to me. So yeah. Loney, I'm curious about something. I like to ask, in what way do the cards lead your readings? Have you ever tried doing readings without them? Do you get downloads without the cards throughout your days? In what ways do the cards assist you? Okay, yeah. Great question. I think at this point I could do readings without the cards, but I like the cards. The cards actually like allow me to download more information. I still get information regardless, but it's almost like when I start seeing the visuals, it's like I start seeing more and more and more. So I really enjoy actually using the cards when I do my readings because it's like telling me a story essentially. And I trust what I see now. Whereas before I was like, maybe I'm just making this up. I'm sure one day I could get to that without it, but I think it's just part of my channeling. I think it's a tool that basically helps. All right, best of luck, Martine. You got it. So Fedora, you're next. It's big. Fits the download I had about some folks regarding the throat chakra. That's cool. Hi, Jacqueline. I'm willing to put in the effort and work it takes. I strongly feel the need to manifestation for career growth and financial abundance. Dream and desire keeps flashing up, and I want to do something about it. Oh, you're so welcome. Okay. So, what is Fedora? So you just want to basically talk about like, again, maybe similar to what I did with Martine, like what, I mean, we'll see what the cards tell you anyway, but it's basically about career, like what's happening, where you want to go, what are you trying to achieve? This one came hot. Coming hot, hot, hot. Okay. Okay. Let's see what comes up. Everything, apparently. Okay, so what do you need to do essentially to get there? Ooh. All right, cards. Take a chip pill. Nice. Okay. I'll take a couple more cards. It'll just like fall out. Anything else? I like the number 3. That makes sense. All right. Iggy, what are you doing? Whoop, whoop. You're so funny. All right, so the first card that you got, Fedora, is tradition. Okay, so when I got this card, I got like a big image of essentially like what I heard is that you need to take more action. Okay, so one of the things that happens even with me sometimes, like I get all these ideas, and then this is why I talk about like making these plans and writing down in the next steps, because sometimes I have all these ideas. I know, I mean, I have always like multiple projects going on at the same time, and I only have certain amount of hours in the day, and then like today ended up me getting nothing done. Well, not nothing. I knew I had the live. I could never do nothing, but less than what I normally would accomplish in a day. And you know, sometimes I just got to do it. Like I want it to be perfect. I want it to look a certain way. I want things to be a certain way, and then sometimes I just got to get that camera, put it on the freaking thing, and just film. So oftentimes when we're trying to be too perfect or we want things to be a certain way, these things can hold us back. And my favorite story will always be with this friend of mine who was a perfectionist, and she wanted to write this film, right? And film was great idea, loved it. Never, of course, got written. Why? Because she had to have the perfect desk. And when she got the perfect desk, it took her months. And when she got the perfect desk, it had to look out into the window, out into the ocean, because that was the only way that she could write this, right? Long story short, she never wrote it because she took so long to get to the point of even like, you just need a laptop or a pen and paper, like, you know. But it's these stories that we tell ourselves essentially that slow down the process, okay, of us actually taking action. And when it comes to building businesses and stuff, it's a lot of failure. Like I said with Edison's story, like he did 1,000 attempts before he even got the one result. So business is all about learning. Business is all about growing. Yes, especially, oh my God, writers. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like writers are a big one, you know, because it's like essentially what it comes down to is the fear of judgment of others. That's really the core foundation of it. It's just like, if I fail, what is so and so gonna think? If I fail, I'm gonna embarrass myself, you know. And you got to be willing to fuck up. You got to be willing to embarrass yourself. You got to be willing to look stupid. Okay, that's, to me, that's the truth, especially when it comes to art, because that's how you learn very quickly. So less thinking and more doing, essentially, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think you're just building up the emotions and the momentum to move forward, and I don't feel like you're lazy. I'm not saying that you're lazy, that you don't do things or that you don't take action, but it's taking the right action. Okay, so sometimes we distract ourselves. Like when I sometimes don't want to do something, I'll start cleaning the house. That's how I know I'm avoiding something, because I'm actually doing something that I really don't want to do. So I'm like starting to organize my closet all of a sudden. I'm like, normally I would never do this. I mean, I'm fairly neat and clean, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm avoiding something right now because I know I got to get that project that means something to me. And so I'd rather put my energy into something else that's much easier for me to deal with than that very thing that I got to deal with. So less of this and more of taking action, of doing the right thing. So the studying or whatever it is that you're trying to build, like sitting down and making that plan and then actually following through. So like the commitment, like I said, even with my friend who wanted to get a new job, it's like, you can think about it, you can plan for it all you want, but until you go out there and actually go up to people and say, hey, this is my resume, you're not going to get the job, you know. So somehow we feel like we're doing all this work, but we're really not doing shit. Okay. So much of this random, then often inside my mind and continue. Yes. So here's why. Ego and internal politics. Okay. So it's the inner battle. Your brain is basically like, it's the ego. Okay. And so when the ego, again, I'm not talking about being up yourself, bad label of the ego. Ego is what you identify with. You have identified yourself, Fedora, in being a certain person for so long, and you've made this decision now to make this change. This means it's a whole identity shift. It's the biggest threat to the ego possible. When you make an identity shift, it means I'm ready to become a different person, which means my relationships can change, my life can change, my home can change, my habits are going to change, right? And the ego does not like that at all. So it will do everything possible to keep you stuck and in the old ways of doing things. And this is the internal battle that you're having with yourself, which is why it's a lot more comfortable to sit there and look out the window and dream about it than actually taking action. So the best way to kill the ego is do everything that you're afraid of, everything that you don't want to do. Okay, an example is somebody who really wants to lose weight. It's always the easiest way. Somebody who's overweight who wants to become fit and thin. The journey is not just the fat, losing the fat. The journey is changing the habit, changing your routine, changing even your relationships. Because if you're hanging around a group of people who like to drink and eat junk food every weekend, you're not going to be able to do that anymore, which means you can't hang out with them as much. It's a whole change of identity. You're changing who you are. So Fedora, who is right now struggling, to the Fedora who is a very successful businesswoman, is a completely different human being. And so I love what you said, which is I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to sacrifice. And again, the sacrifice, guys, I'm a reminder, okay? The triangle. So, oh, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you. So again, like I said, you set the intention. Now it does the sacrifice. What do you have to sacrifice to get to where you want to get to? And it makes so much sense to me when I heard this like 3 thing, because I never could put it into words before, but it makes completely sense. You know, it's like the sacrifice to get to where you want to go. It requires a level of sacrifice, and it's oftentimes the thing that matters the most to us. So most people will tell you, very successful people who've built up businesses, like they didn't go out and party, they didn't do this, they had to say no to a lot of people to get to the things that they wanted to get to. I had to do that when I started building my meditation channel, because I was living with a roommate at the time who was very party and free and whatever, and like I was like finish work, and then I was like, I'm sorry, I gotta work on my business. I don't get time to hang out with you and have fun. I gotta try and figure this out. A lot of sacrifice, you know, exhaustion, being tired, whatever it is, that thing, right? So you're shifting identity, you're becoming somebody else. And so the journey to it sucks usually, or it can be fun depending on your attitude as well, your perspective. And once you, now I'm loving the journey to becoming somebody new. I embrace it. But back in the day, I was like, oh, I have to do this, it sucks, poor me, I'm so hard. And like, you know, now I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go, you know, or like I catch myself being distracted. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna clean this closet, but then you're gonna do it, girl. Like, no more excuses. You know what you're doing now. So it's building a whole new relationship with yourself, a whole new way of doing things, a whole new way of being. Okay, here's the good thing. I do see good. Okay. All right, so I do see emotional fulfillment. So Fedora, I don't know what's going on in your life right now, but I do feel like you're not emotionally fulfilled. I feel like there's this void, this lack, and this is why you're like, I am so much pain that I just like, or some form of pain that you're like, this is not working for me. This is no, this is not, nah. Okay, great. That's a good place to be, as long as you don't fall into victimhood and you're like, oh, everything's against me and I can't do anything. So I still fulfillment. So you're seeking that fulfillment. You're seeking that version of you that is proud of themselves, that can look back and go, fuck yeah, I did all that work, and yeah, I was worth it, and yeah, I put the, you know, I know I'm capable of it, and I know you know you're capable of it. But knowing again and doing is 2 different things, right? It's like now you have to prove it. So that's the hard part, you know. And it's like, again, the willingness to fall flat on your face. Like my first business failed, and I knew it was going to fail, and my biggest fear was putting $10,000 into it and knowing that that money was going to go down the toilet. But I still told myself, I was like, you cannot see this as a failure, because if you see this as a failure, you're not going to try again. And the course that I did, they say your first business is probably not going to be successful. You're either going to break even or lose money. So I was prepared for it, but I was going to do it anyway. That's the third point, right? But that course taught me everything that I needed to know that now I'm building on. So I've made my Oracle deck, I made my book, Now I'm going to teach people how to do it. So that failure now morphed into something completely different. And I look back at it now with no resentment. I am like using my old stock now to give as donations, so I get tax write-offs. So it never ended up being a failure in to begin with, right? But I was willing to lose. I was willing to embarrass myself, whatever that is, because I don't care anymore about what other people think. But you know what I mean? So the next thing that I'm getting here, there's some kind of fear probably from my childhood, procrastination, of course, but there's intuition on I know parts and bits to be back on track. Absolutely. Oh yes, Atomic Habits, Ryan. That's a good one. I like that book as well. It's definitely a good one. So yeah, you can get my cards. So you just need to go to my website. So if you go into my link, you can find my website, and then you can buy the Oracle deck from there. They're on eBay as well, and Etsy. So a couple of things. So you got to go back to school, my love. Okay, we're on this journey, Fedora. We're on this journey of learning. We're on this journey of growing. Okay, so you're ready to get back to the drawing board. You're ready to get back to school. Now, this doesn't mean actually having to go into a course, or maybe, okay. But what this means is like learning about yourself, learning about your blocks, learning about motivation, learning about business. So I spend all my time when I'm at the gym, if I'm depending on sometimes, or when I have long drives, all I do is I listen to podcasts. All I do is listen to online classes. All I do is listen to lessons. Sometimes I'll play a little bit of music towards the end if I want to enjoy myself, but I make sure that I'm educating myself the whole time. People who are very successful in business, what do they do? What is their motivation? What are their secrets? Like, people give you free shit out there. So much free shit that is insane. So I use that, and I'm constantly learning so that I can constantly grow. Same thing here. This is the time for you. So you want to release these blocks. You want to get over these blocks. Find somebody who's been through what you've been through and follow what they did. Follow their blueprint. If it worked for them, it's going to work for you. Then you can start writing your own blueprint from there. But use what other people are using. And I'm like, dude, I'm seeing a pattern here. That person, that person, and that person all use the same blueprint. Works for every single one of them. Something's good about this. Unnecessary worry. So this anxiety and these fears all are self-created, okay? So whatever this fear from childhood, whatever, it's time to let it go. It's time to release it, because it's definitely holding you back, but it's completely unnecessary as well. It's like fear is like false evidence appearing real. It's like there's nothing attacking you in that moment, but for some reason we just don't do anything about it. So we're like paralyzed in fear, as if there is a tiger in the room. So being aware of that again is like, yo, there's nothing fucking here. Like, there's nothing stopping me from doing this. Like, I gotta break through this. And again, anybody who's done business will tell you the same thing. Oftentimes it's putting out fires, overcoming fears, overcoming insecurities, overcoming self-doubt. It's a constant journey of self-growth and self-healing and self-motivation and self. So the start of the journey sucks because you're just clapping for yourself. There's nobody there cheering you on. And sometimes there's going to be people booing you. And people might cheer you on up until the point where you become more successful than them, and then they start booing you. I've experienced this, you know, myself. It's like I used to work at a bar, and I worked with two other writers who literally, I guess because I was a girl and I was a little bit crazy back then, they like thought, they laughed at me for saying that I want to write films, and I want to write a book, and I want to write this, and I hadn't written any of my stuff by then. And they literally laughed at me. And now I've written several books, and I'm writing another film, and I'm doing all this sort of stuff, and like I don't think that they've done anything with their lives. So, you know, don't listen to them. But I do see celebration, okay? So I do see you, Fedora, getting what you want. But your journey is overcoming self. That is your biggest block. Overcome yourself. Stop listening to your emotions, especially in business. It's crazy because you think, oh, isn't the whole thing is like you need to listen to your emotions because your emotions are like your North Star and to tell you where you want to go? Yes and no. Depends on the situation. So when it comes to this situation, your emotions are going to say, danger, 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 don't get better, don't change, don't improve, don't do anything, stay stuck, keep looking out that window. So if you listen to your emotions, that's where you're going to be. So at some point, it's like I get up in the morning, I don't want to go to the gym. I do it anyway. I don't feel like it. I go anyway. I'm like, well, tough. We're going anyway. And I do it. Because if I listen to my emotions in that moment, I would never go. So that's an example of when you cannot listen to your emotions, because your emotions don't want you to change. They want you to be comfortable and cozy and warm and sleepy. It's all nice, but no. I have to get up at 6. All right, let's do it. I'm getting up at 6. We're going to the gym. So your body eventually learns to, you begin to learn when to listen to your emotions and when to listen to your mind. I so needed to hear that today. Fortunate to be at the right place at the right around. Yeah, well, you manifested that and it's time. Okay. But the fact that you know that you can do it and that you're willing to do the work, Fedora, that is the ingredient to success. So only thing that is left is overcome yourself and you will get there. Okay. So you got this. You literally got this, because most people don't even believe that they can do it. So the fact that you have that belief and you're willing to do the work, that combination is extremely powerful. It's the key to getting to success. One of the keys. There's many keys. All right. And Nakisha. And I still have Julia and B. I still got you guys down. So I'm just doing Nakisha and then I got you guys. You're welcome, Fedora. You got this, man. So give me a second. Let me just disconnect. It's like, phew. Okay, tonight seems to be a business heavy, and I got a lot out of this reading. So I would like to just see what the universe has to say to me with where I'm at heading. Okay, let's find out. And so I'm assuming you also wanted a question about business. Yeah, I love Jack, man. Jack is like so like, I feel like you're that like dad figure in the background that is like motivating everybody who didn't have a dad, and you're like cheering them on in the field, in the soccer field. I don't know why, like I had this visual. You're like the dad that everybody needs, Jack. Like, you can do it, son. Just go. Ooh, I love that. Wellness Retreat Center. That's cool. What are you doing, piggies? Woo! I love you too, Iggy. Little munchkins. Ooh, oh gosh. They're making me work out. I don't want to work out. I love their like little like. They have like this little like. It's so funny. I never even planned to getting the guinea pigs, but we ended up at the shelter because I was rescuing the hamsters and I saw the guinea pigs. And I looked at my husband, and he's actually the one who said that he was like, yeah, we'll take him. And I'm like, did you hit your head? So I'm glad we did, because they're funny. Okay. So, Nakisha, relationship developing to a new level. Ooh, I love this. Trust your intuition, care for yourself and others. That makes sense. So, yes, this is like, and the relationship is the relationship to your business, the idea. So it's the upgrade. I do feel like this was actually like a download, like a divine guidance that came to you. It's like you got all the animals behind there, but it's like this angel, it's like this portal opened up and you got this download, this channeled information. It's almost like this just kind of came to you. So quick question. I keep getting like the new lover. Okay. I don't know if you're in a relationship or not, but it's like, could also mean that. But intimate relationship, carefully weigh your decision, good health. So, Okay. So, the wellness center separated from my husband. Okay. So I do think that possibly somebody's coming in as well, because I don't know why I keep getting relationship as well. So, just FYI, you change your business, you're changing your frequency as well, which opens up the door for something new possible as well in that realm. And I think it's all kind of related a little bit, but either way. The other thing that I got here is also changing the relationship with yourself. You do also need to do some healing work since you're opening up the wellness center. It's almost like, all right, so the work, the inner work that you got to do for yourself to align with that frequency, because you want it to obviously be genuine, right? I think when it comes to business, I mean, you don't, it doesn't have to be genuine, it doesn't have to be something that you love, but there has to be some kind of like passion or something that is like relatable or that you connect with deeply so that the audience can relate to or join that specific audience. So I do feel like you do need to do some work for yourself here. It's like, all right, I'm shifting from this reality to another reality. It's like, what is it going to take for me to get from here to there? What is it that I need to heal and start doing the work? I'm not quite sure what that is, but it just came up for some reason. So you got to trust that. Intuitive, centered, artistic, and friendly. A new person enters your life. A relationship begins a new phase. Heightened psychic abilities. Listen, you're getting a new relationship, okay? So either way, that one's coming in very loud and clear. I think they want to tell you this very loud and clearly, because you got relationship development, relationship, so the lovers, and then you got a new person entering your life. So I know you asked about business, okay, but I think that they just wanted to make it very clear that a new relationship is coming in. So FYI, heads up. But I think it's also like, I think the relationship could also be a blessing with the business, because it makes sense. Because like when you're in love, what happens is like you fucking feel indestructible. Like it amplifies your frequency, right? It's like, I don't know, whenever, I know when I fell in love with my husband, like my career just started taking off, because you're just in such a good blissful state energetically that like things just kind of start working out a little bit easier, because you're like, I don't care if that challenge happens, I'm like in love, and I don't know, I'm happy, whatever, who fucking cares, you know? So, and you got that support, right? So I feel like this person's also coming in at the right time to help you with the business. I do think there's some kind of like a link here. And again, I think it's energetic, but maybe also like they might be a healer. I don't know what the healing or whatever, I don't know if it's like beauty products or if it's actually like a healing center, whatever it is, but there's a link here with this person and with this kind of thing. So I think that's coming up as well because of that. So good for you. An illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. Okay. So this is probably the shadow stuff that's coming up, the parts that like, you know, I think you've been doing something for so long now that you've been kind of used to it. And so this is going to take a lot of strength and a lot of leadership from your side. Like you want to start this business. I don't think you have a problem with it so much. Tagline, healing the land, healing people, growing together. Love that. But it's putting you in a leadership role, Nakisha. So it's almost like, you know, it's like you see that horse and then like all the other horses are following through. So whenever we do leadership stuff, it's tough for the leader at first. Oftentimes, and I think this is why the healing came up as well, it's like you gotta have the support to help you push through and to get the strength and the courage to move through. And when it's something of service, I think the universe also provides the right people, places, and things to help you along the way, which is probably why the relationship is coming in at this time as well. But the pushing through, it's almost like, you know, you're going to discover new things about yourself, and you're going to have to bring in that strength, that courage, that force, whatever it is. Hi, Piggy. Oh, the bujos. I love you. I know. So it's essentially what I'm saying here is just know that it's not going to, I mean, I know you understand this and I know you expect this to happen, but just understand it is going to be tough at times. And the problem with being a leader, oftentimes the leader has to always do the first step than everybody else. It's the one who actually like, I love the metaphor of like wolves, pack of wolves. If you ever see the pack of wolves in the snow, the leader is always in the front, and he's the one breaking through the snow so that the rest of the pack can come through and follow. So he's doing the hardest amount of work to break through the snow, like literally physically breaking because the snow is up to there for them, and he's jumping through the snow and breaking through the snow so that everybody else can follow. And so that to me is like the best idea of like what a leader has to go through in order to like the followers come through. So there's a lot of healing and a lot of work that you're going to have to do. I think you're prepared for it and you got the right support, but again, just understand that that's coming with it. And let's just see if they have anything else more like helpful, because this is just information. I think that they just like, hey, guess what? You're getting a new relationship. FYI. Wait, the piggies. Let's see the rats today. Teddy. I might get one of the rats to come and say hi. Anything else? Okay, good. All right. Ooh, release yourself from that which holds you back. I need to detox unnecessary worry based on lack of self-confidence. Okay. I love the metaphor because the female leader is the one in front of breaking the ground, while the lead male is bringing up the rear to protect the pack and move them along. There you go. That's awesome. So there you go. So a little bit of cleansing again, past stuff, Nikisha. So again, you're moving into a whole new phase. So this is like a lot of letting go, a lot of surrendering, a lot of like changing the business physically, emotionally, spiritually. So there's the 3 here again, you know. So there's a lot of work that you're doing behind the scenes. Yeah. So and I also felt like the chakras, like, you know, this is representing all the different chakras, so it's going to be so many different phases of things that you have to let go of. And again, it goes back to the leadership thing. It's like you're going through a lot. This big decision comes with big changes, like cause and effect is part of this world. But it's, again, I feel like a lot of letting go, like ideologies, identities, habits of things or whatever it is. So there's like a lot of healing. And again, you got again the chakra thing here. So a lot of time of reflection and meditation and spiritual work. So again, I'm feeling this big healing process, like you being in nature, listening to nature, meditating, and doing some of the chakra work. So I'm again, today a lot of chakras are coming up, but there's probably a reason for it. So going through each chakra and knowing what they represent and maybe letting go of something from each chakra. You know what I mean? It's like, what am I ready to surrender and release? What am I ready to surrender and release to embody this new version, this leadership role that I'm taking in? Also, if you're into like animals and stuff like that, like the totem animal of the female wolf could be something that is for you. A challenge you can resolve, withdraw from drama of others, have patience with yourself and those around you. Okay. So it's a bit of a puzzle. Okay. It's going to be a lot of work. Again, it's a puzzle that you can put together. Just be very careful about the negative energy of other people. Oh, there you go. Perfect timing then. Be careful of the negativity of other people. Okay. So when you're doing this, the last thing you need is to take on shit from other people. Okay. And I don't mean shit as in like they're giving you shit, as in like their shit, their drama, their problems. Because you're going to need all the energy that you can to focus. And I'm not saying don't be a good friend, but there's a difference between like being a good friend and just like, all right, I'm going to listen to you because I want you to be my friend and I'm just going to put up with this shit. So be aware of that. Okay. And on top of that, what I also got is that when you're building something new, you're going to have to deal with people. You're going to have to deal with people's shit. So learning how to manage that a little bit better as well. So these are some of the things that you might need to let go of. The need to please other people, the need to always rescue, the need to be kind every time and right. Nothing wrong with being kind, of course, because we always want to be kind, but it's like sometimes, you know, you can waste 3 hours trying to console somebody when you should have been getting something done when it comes to a business. And sometimes you just kind of have to pick and choose, like, listen, love, this is not the time. Let's talk about it after we got this done, but let's get this done. So that kind of thing. So I feel like there needs to be a change in the way, yeah, you're the one always one rescuing, of course, because you want to be a healer. And this is one of the biggest things that healers have to learn. Okay. It's like, if you cannot heal yourself and rescue yourself first, you cannot rescue other people truly. I mean, yes, you can, but what you're really doing is trying to rescue yourself through other people. And unfortunately, like, some people may take it and some people just abuse it. And I know a lot of healers out there learn the hard way, because they're like doing all this work trying to help people, but the person just goes back to doing the same exact thing over and over again. So you just wasted all this energy and time and it just did not get appreciated. So you got to be careful with that, because when you're starting to build something new, every ounce of energy matters. And I always use this as an example, especially with family and friends. It's like the hardest one, because we love them so much and we want to rescue them, and we could see the potential. We're like, are you fucking stupid? Can you not see? It's right there. If only you just stopped doing this one thing, which clearly it's not good. Let me help you. And they're like, yeah, you're totally right. And then they're just back in the same fucking thing over and over again. So at some point, you just got to step back and all right, you know what? Fucking fall. Okay, I'm going to go this way. Whenever you're ready, I'm here, but you do you, boo. In the meantime, I'm going to build up my thing. At some point, you just have to do it, because you're giving your energy to somebody who just does not appreciate it. It's like, I love it. I don't know if anybody knows Leo Seppi. He made it the best example of this. It's like, your time and your energy is like a Birkin bag, even though I don't like Birkins and I don't like anything that's leather or anything like that. But the point is, very expensive bags, okay? They're like $150,000 for this freaking bag. And he's like, sometimes we give the Birkin to a crackhead. And that crackhead, that homeless person, or that crackhead doesn't understand the value of it. And so they just trash it. But if you give it to somebody who understands the value of that bag, they will respect it. They will value it. They will treasure it. They will take care of it. I don't know why I'm using Leo Seppi as an example, but it's just the funniest example that I can think of. But it's true, okay? So your time is a Birkin, okay? And I'm not saying that your family member is a crackhead, but I'm just saying somebody who doesn't value it, doesn't understand the value of the work and the time and the preciousness of your energy that you put into them in that moment, they're going to be like that crackhead. They're just going to toss it. They don't understand what you're giving them. They just take it for granted. But somebody who's like, oh my God, thank you so much. I needed this and I needed this time and I needed, like, they're going to value it. Okay. And so we have to be careful with that. And it doesn't mean do not help the homeless person or the crackhead, metaphor here, of course. And physically, literally. But it's like the only thing that you can do, and it's like you rising yourself up. And they hopefully either A, can be inspired of it, and then eventually when they want to make the decisions, like, what did you do? I want to learn. And then you're like, all right, here you go. This is what I did, So, yeah. So these are the things that basically come up. So just be careful with that, okay? Because your energy is going to go in one direction and you don't want to be rescuing. I mean, please do rescue, but that's the whole point, I think, is why you're building this thing, right? So you can have a bigger impact and hopefully attract people who do value that energy and that purpose behind it. Yeah, so I don't hear anything else. Does that make sense, Nikisha? The Birkin and the Crackhead. It's a good story. It's a good book. We should make it The Birkin and the Crackhead. I feel like that's a good book title. Cool. So do you feel like you need any more clarity or anything else, or do you feel like you got everything that you needed? Let's see. Sorry, guys. I got 10 text messages. Oh, good. So if you have any more questions, Nikisha, feel free before I move on. If not, I will move on. I know I got Julia and B. I got more than expected, and I'm even more excited about my journey forward. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, my love. I'm so excited for your new relationship, though. That's what I want to know. Who's this guy or girl or whatever you're into? Because they were like, hey, I'm coming. Let her know. I'm like, all right. All right. So thank you so much, my love. So I've got Julia. And Julia, are you still here? Do you have a question? Yeah, absolutely. What's the dream? Maybe one of each. Oh. Whatever works for you, love. Whatever works for you. Okay, so do you want to explain the dream, or do you just want me to see what the dream... I mean, it helps if you explain the dream, because I do know a little bit about dreams. buddy. I see you. Okay. Alright, let's see. My cards when I come out. Bimo, I could see you. Little cutie pie. Okay, so. Hi. Oh, it's Finn. Sorry, I called you Bimo. Got too many hamsters. They all look alike anyway. Most of you do. Oh, monkeys. Littles. I know you want to get out. I'll let you out. All right, anything else? Here we go. Ooh. All right, so I don't, okay. So you got the forest fairies and then you got the incarnated angels. Okay, so a couple of things. I think at the end of the day, I can only tell you what I see here. Hopefully that makes sense. So the forest fairies remind you to stay true to your nature and walk your own path. Even when it feels easier to follow the crowd, you are meant to live authentically, not to fit into expectations that don't align with your soul. Follow what fills your heart and fuels your purpose. At the same time, be mindful of self-sabotaging behaviors that may be holding you back. Trust yourself, embrace your uniqueness, and allow your spirit to flourish. So I think at the end of the day, the message here is very clear. So again, hey, Silverback. This is about I feel like the dream essentially was directing you towards reminding you not to veer off your path, not to veer off your mission, not to veer off your truth, your authenticity, but also be aware, like it said, of self-sabotaging behaviors. So it's probably like a little bit of a warning, kind of like saying, hey, just be aware that this is something that could be taking you off path. And at the same time, don't forget about your path, reminding you of what your path is. This also means going against the crowd, going against what most people want, expect, or is. It's like a tough one, you know, because it's like it's easier to follow the crowd. It's always been easy to follow the crowd, but then you become unhappy. And then the other card is the incarnated angels. So spiritual team. Angels are all about like, you are never alone. Divine help is always available to you. You have a deep connection to the angelic realm, and your guides are ready to support you at this moment. All you need to do is ask. Open your heart to receiving love, guidance, and protection. Trust that you are being held in embrace of the higher energies, and allow yourself to be led with grace and wisdom. So when this card comes up as well, it's like you need to communicate more with your spiritual team or with actual people. Could be one or the other. But usually it's more with your spiritual team, and be very specific about what you need help with and say it. Like, guys, I need help with this. I don't know what to do. Help me out. Show me what I can do, or take over. Like, I need you guys to just do this for me. Yeah, so the angelic realm, again, a reminder, I work with angels a lot. I have some kind of very strong bond with the angelic realm. So they always want me to remind people that they cannot help you unless you give them permission. So they might be there and they might be like, hey, we want to help you, but you haven't given us permission. Like, you've been asking, but you haven't given us permission. You're like, hey, can you help me? It's like, I give you permission to help me. I need you to do this for me. Like, it's almost like you have to be their boss. And people are like, how arrogant. It's like, no, that's what they want. they don't see things like we do. They don't see it as arrogant, or because they work under laws. They have very restrictive laws, which is, I cannot do something because the law in my realm prohibits me from doing it. So I need you to give me permission, because we work with free will. So unless you say, hey, you need to do this, we can't do it, unless it's a threatening situation or life or death. That's the only time that they can step in. So does that make sense, Julia? That's good that it's resonating, because it's the first time I read for a dream. So that's essentially the nutshell of it. Okay, and then B, do you have a question if you're still here? Hey, she's still here. I'm here. What does that mean, Silverback? Tatu go halain. Halain. What's that? Is that like, are you sending spell? Towel? I don't know what that means. Two? What are you saying, dude? You're making no sense. Okay. Good Halloween. Oh, I got you. You're funny, dude. Well, happy Halloween to you too. Okay, so B, I'm with you. Sorry, I'm just multitasking. So you got a urinary problem. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go there. So I'm just gonna connect to you for a second. So there's a couple of things that can be related to that. So for me, B, I don't know if this is something that relates to you, but I just want to share this with people because this might, a lot of women out here, I think, might be able to relate to this. A lot of the times, for me in the past, when I would have a wrong partner, I would end up with a lot of urinary problems. So I essentially, my body was angry. So a urinary infection is like your womb, your private parts, all of that area is very angry and irritated. Um, Now, it might not be this for you, but this is just something I want to share with the women. So I would get a lot of like, I would get yeast infections and I would get urinary tract infections all the time because I was with the wrong partners. And to me, now looking back, obviously it's so obvious. And then once I started choosing the right partners, I never had an issue ever again. But this is when in my phase when I was with abusive people. So I'm just putting it out there just in case there could be something like that. But you said that it started when you were 11 years ago. Also, not 11 years old, 11 years ago. So I don't know. Sometimes when we have had a sexual partner who caused some frustration and anger and like it manifests physically, especially for us women. So that could be something, but let's just see what the card's going to tell us. But I just wanted to share that because the minute I started choosing partners who were right for me, who did not abuse me, I never, like I said, I never had any issues with that ever again. So that's one thing, and I think it just manifests there because it's also like the base chakra and the sacral chakra. So it's also related to those chakras, which is your safety, your security, and then your creativity, self-expression, and sexuality. So those are those two chakras. So I don't know if there's something that's resonating here. I don't know if 11 years ago, like I would be asking myself what happened 11 years ago. So there you go. Yeah. So sometimes the illnesses and the irritations are so obvious, but they're not obvious at the same time. So to me, it's almost like even just thinking about the physical act, right? You're going to the bathroom, you're releasing, you're detoxing something out of your system, but there's so much anger and resentment. It's violent. It's rage that's happening in there. So I'm going to give you a couple of things that I would do to help you with that, but let's just see if anything else comes up because they obviously want to talk to you. Okay. So I started when I moved in with my ex, and my sister gave me an ultimatum and abandoned me that month too. So you see, there's a lot of emotions happening there. So ex, there was obviously, and also like you got to understand as well, like for women as well, it's like we're very vulnerable when we allow a person in. The whole thing in the past is like women should be choosing really carefully their partners. And again, if I could go back in time and if I was taught what I know now, I mean, look, if you're open and want to have fun, there's some women that can just be like, I have a friend that she's like, she'll go out and meet somebody, bring him home, and just be fine the next day. Like, I cannot be like that, but good to you if you have that personality. But some women are not built that way. Some women really have to hold themselves very sacred and have the man prove themselves worthy before they even allow them in. Because we are the ones who get pregnant. We are the ones who really just let's be real, we're being penetrated. So it's an aggressive act that's happening to us, and if somebody doesn't respect that, we might subconsciously be taking in so much more than we think. And this is never taught to women, especially to younger women. And sex is just seen as this like fun thing, or this like whatever, which it is. Don't get me wrong, if it's done with the right person who respects you and values you. But we unfortunately give ourselves away sometimes to people who don't. And then we are not just dealing with the emotional, but we're also dealing with the physical repercussions of that, and the energetic. Because when you have intercourse with somebody, you're holding on to their energy. Like, that's what happens. So there are some things here, okay? So first thing I'm seeing is, yes, so everything happens for a reason. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for silver lining. Okay, so I feel like you see how there's like a couple there and she's walking away. I don't know if you walked away from this relationship. I'm assuming you did, possibly, or maybe not. And again, it might not be the man's fault. Again, it might be the right one. Okay, you did, good. Because it feels like, you see there's like gifts left behind, like she's walking away from him and there's like gifts left behind. So I feel like there's some things that there's parts of you that you kind of left behind, or that this person took and didn't value everything that I'm saying right now. It's almost like you gave these gift to this person. It doesn't have to be physical, by the way. We're talking about emotional, we're talking about spiritual, we're talking about your time, we're talking about something sacred to you. And somehow this person either didn't know how to value it. Doesn't always mean that a person's bad, by the way, guys. Like, people are people, like people do dumb shit. Sometimes we just give it to the wrong person, thinking that, like, again, the Birkin situation, right? We give them a Birkin, but they don't know what the hell a Birkin is. They don't know what to do with it. So I feel like there's still parts of you that have left some kind of connection, and that still somehow your body's holding on to this resentment. Okay, so there's like this part of your body that is just like stuck in that time. It's like, and it wasn't just him, it was also like your sister, like you said. So there was like multiple things happening at the same time. So I feel like there's these gifts left behind, there's something that's left behind, and it's just very frustrating, and I feel like your body's still expressing it. The other thing that you got is the wheel. So new beginnings, end of delays, a change of direction that offers happiness, and then follow your heart, love of home and family, trustworthy psychic information. So what was it that I heard before? It was very important. So, okay. So one of the things I think, B, you need to do is you need to do a cord cutting with this past, with this situation. And another one is also like self-forgiveness. For having chosen the wrong partner, and for having sacrificed your relationship with your sister. Because I think there's a part of you back then that just probably felt like, because you had to choose and you chose him, there's like so many layers of emotional crap going on right now. So I think a cord cutting to this person, because sometimes even though we've broken up with somebody, they can still have power over us in the present. They can still, like, the memory, the pain, the suffering, all of this sort of shit we're still carrying in the present, and it's affecting our relationships now. It's affecting our self-esteem, it's affecting our self-worth. It can do so much damage. So it's kind of like, I feel like it's time for you to like release that memory, that attachment, claiming some of those parts of you that you left behind back, re-owning them, bringing them back to you. So I feel like one of the things that I like to do, I mean, we can just do it now. It's not going to be as deep, but I mean, I want you to try to do this by yourself in a much deeper relationship. So anybody else here who has an ex or anything that you feel like you're still carrying, we're going to do this together now, because it's the only way I can think of, because I don't think I have any specific, I might have some meditations on that. So do check my insight timer on that. But we're going to just do this together now. So I want you guys to all, not all of you, whoever wants to do this, just get yourself in a comfortable position. And just taking a moment. So be with you. You're going to place your hands just on your womb, on your ovaries, just like right here. Okay, just in your lower stomach. And so just placing your hands here and connecting to your body. This, men can do this as well. You don't have ovaries, but you got other things in there. So, same story. But I'm going to speak in the female, mostly in female right now, because I'm doing this for B. But men, if you're doing this, just understand, just translate it in your head for the male parts or anything like that, or male organs. And so I want you now to bring all of your attention and your focus to the palm of your hands, okay? So right here. And I want you to visualize a beautiful white energy just merging, like an energetic cord merging out of your hands into your body, connecting to your ovaries and your womb. Even if you don't have a womb, if it's been removed, that's fine. It's energetically there, and the men, your male parts, all that sort of stuff. So just connecting to your internal organs, essentially. And just visualize this cord like a roots of a tree just spreading and just gently connecting to anything and all in that area. And just taking a moment to listen, just to notice what comes up, if there's any information. Maybe you get memories or visuals. There's no right or wrong here. Just trust what you see. If you see nothing, that's perfectly fine too. And so now I want you to ask your body, especially you bees, like, I understand that I have this chronic irritation and I need to understand you. I'm here to listen. I'm here to receive. I'm here to help. I'm here to reconnect with you. So reveal to me what it is, what emotional baggage or emotional history or person or situation this is attached to. And just listen again. This is how you speak to your body. This is how you receive information. And then from here now, I invite you to reveal energetic cords that are attached to that person, to that timeline, to that memory, to that moment that has caused this issue in my body. And so visualize a black energy cord just shooting out and see it connect to that person, that memory, that place. You might have multiple energetic cords. That's perfectly fine. Today we call forth the angelic realm as we give them full permission to assist us, to heal us, and to transmute and transform this energy, to reclaim parts of us that have been taken or that are stuck in a time in our past. We invite them to channel to us and through us energies, frequencies, light, love, and blessings, and above all, healing, allowing us to break these energetic cords, these contracts, so that we can set ourselves free, reclaim our autonomy, and be one again. And so now from above your head, just visualizing this divine angelic light moving down your head, wrapping itself down your spine and spreading down, connecting all to your sexual organs again. And now this light moves out of you and wraps itself around those black energetic cords or energetic cord, depending how many you see. And just feel that love, that safety, the divine protection from the angels. I now reclaim parts of me. I now set myself free. I break this contract from the past, the present, and the future, as it no longer have any power over me. I claim this, so it is done. And so bringing your attention and your focus now to those organs and feeling a heat, a fire, an activation, and seeing that white light that is wrapped around those black cords beginning to get brighter and brighter and brighter until it gently begins to literally incinerate and burn those black cords one by one. And just seeing them all fade away. And so bringing your attention back here now, just inviting healing, And just seeing all of the organs now being covered in this gold and beautiful white light from the angelic realm, allowing you to heal the organs, heal the parts of you, repair and restore anything that needs your attention and your love at this time. Just seeing this beautiful, divine, beautiful white light in you, connecting to every cell, soothing the energy. And for you, be more specifically, I want you to begin to visualize also a clear blue energy, like a very soft blue energy. So it's cooling down the irritation and the anger. I will continue to listen to you. I am here. Please speak to me through intuition, through messages, and through information. I am grateful for you. And thank you. And so now just visualizing that cord being released from above and just gently allowing yourself to bring yourself back as you return back into the space. So this is a form of self-healing, guys, and self-communication, but you got to do the work, and you really got to sit there and just take the time to speak to your body. So hopefully this helped a little bit. I'm just teaching you something that you can do to begin to practice this every time you get irritated or there's some issues. But essentially there's an emotional attachment usually to this kind of thing. So if it happens again, just do the same exercise that we just did so you can continue, because those cords sometimes can come back or it can be attached to something else. And hopefully you can begin to heal the layers so that you're no longer carrying this in your body, and that you can free yourself, and hopefully your health gets better because of it. All right, so does that make sense, B? Did that help? Oh, you're so welcome. Whew. All right, guys. So, thank you so much, B. I appreciate that. Cool. All right, so let's wrap this up, y'all. It's almost been 3 hours that I've been here. Thank you all for like hanging out and just chilling. I so appreciate that. It's so much fun. So any questions before we wrap up? Anything at all, feel free to ask as I'm like putting my cards away. Now it's the time to ask. You can ask me anything about my online courses. I've got a ton of online courses on Insight Timer, by the way, guys. I've got a ton of like shielding, self-worth. I think I have the witch wound. Do I have the witch wound? Yeah, I do. Aw, thank you, Lonnie. I appreciate that, man. I'm so grateful for this community, guys. So grateful. It feels nice to be liked. I'm sure somebody out there doesn't like me, but that's okay. You do you, boo. So appreciate you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free. All donations are always eternally welcome. I mean, donations are definitely nice, you know. I always appreciate them very much. They help me, they help the animals, because that's pretty much all I spend my money on, you know. Aw, thank you. Yeah, so animals are doing pretty good so far. They're all semi-healthy. Some of them there's always somebody who has something. But for the most part, right now, they're all doing pretty well. I kept session lives, but this is the first one got to attend to, and glad I did. Oh, thank you, Nikisha. So appreciate that. It's been such a beautiful moment to connect with you and hopefully help, you know. I feel like something's missing. Okay. I was like, did the guinea pig eat it? Aw, good. Whew, all right. Well, I guess we're gonna go. Yeah, that's it, guys. So I'm so grateful for your energy, for your time. For those of you just hang around and just like listen in the background, I so appreciate that. As always, guys, feel free to check out my Insight Timer meditations. I've got a ton of those, so there's always something out there for somebody. They're also like healing sessions as well, so I know that it's gonna hopefully make you feel better. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Oh, thank you, B. I so appreciate you there, guys. Oh, thank you, thank you. So I am usually here every Wednesday, once a week. So I will reschedule. I usually schedule on Sunday, so keep an eye out. And if I'm not, it's because usually I'm busy or I'm on set or something came up. So yes. You guys are the best. All right, guys. So I'm sending you all of the love, all of the blessings, all of the miracles. What does my shirt say? My tits are too nice for my life to be this way. Yeah, it's kind of true. It's facts, guys. It's facts. I was telling the story that today I went to the supermarket with a with a vegan uh, cap that said, if you want to save animals, stop eating them. So I've just been walking around as a neon sign today. So, but these are facts. Hopefully this distracted people from my hat. Um, anyway, so guys, I'm sending you so much love. I cannot wait to see you again for the next live. Feel free to ask more questions next time, even just about like anything spiritual or even personal. I mean, sometimes my story helps people and I don't mind sharing that. Um, so I was aware of what I was wearing, but I thought it would be funny. So I'm glad you guys thought it was funny. So that's it, guys. Have a magical day and I will see you soon.